Good day, everyone. Sofo, wakunta so chia. Ocho ya me hiti life aposi chia no mama why. Okay, mate. Okay, what's it audio so good day everybody. One love always and then soon yasa na watch da kwaba. Welcome. Na I ne Sofo Samuel Okoso yeba betwa domestic violence ewo aware mu no relationship nso ebi bebem because when we couples because relationships be me turning into aware ne yebeka last week you know you can a whole lot into no yebetwa so ene na yetwa so nenso enenso yebe talk more about a nneoma yem emma omwo domestic violence omukun no mo bu omo mistreat omo no ne ade kwan bi betimi afa so a prevent sa nneoma no from happening nipa betimi akọ omo honom akosiki emotional psychological support and na kwan so befa so betimi atwe omo ho afri sa ye meme ya omo edi omo say omo ne meme entu pupo ma na omo bebo omo no omo be timi atwe omo ho afri omo ho a owu asem bia enkobem enti no Sofo Samuel akwaba
na mame apomwe
Yesu adom ne nshira me ho ye pa na wo nso wapomu etesen
na kupon adom ahode ho nti yeso meso me ho ye me da bade asem da nyame asem so mamo nyina
amen and amen to that me da sense so say na wotwe bia wunyamre na wo ba na yebedi nkomo esan say enye nipa nyina na omwo sa adaje no na wo san ye sofo nso as a pastor no I know say you have so many other priorities, you know, responsibilities was sorry ma to say and a counseling so we just a nneoma bebree and so no mimin de bia wunyamre eba spending time with us. Bishop Michael Abuaje Gansa, welcome. Wunyamre ba any ye bedi nkomo na to say last week you know ye can ensemu bebree ewo domestic violence we are talking about emotional psychological physical spiritual to say asofu bi wo hono ma omo timi use omo authority omo position omo wo the abuse omo church members and I say church members omo wo sika bibi di omo nsem financial abuse nyina ye ka enu ni bebre ehun asam na sometimes nneoma bi wo hono ma aya you take it for granted right you pay attention to your stand eka enablers me the enablers be frame oma hu se sa nneoma we se num nyina ekoso ba omo nya ho hwe omo yi omo ni to baabi ene ye wo omo nso abusuafo ene adofo no ma se omo abusuani a wakwa awarem yebo no eba omo enya hwe omo be san kra convince nipa ne say on san come back to nikun no na te say wanya be ma ayi ogina ne na aso osonwa te say o mabusuam nipa tentenfo nim enti e say omia na ni no otena aware no ho say ekoyi o say nkoyi o e say otena ho sa enablers for no we talk about them enti no te say in terms of that no ansa na ye be wie no adofo no mu bi nso de eyi beto so the abuse ni bi because abuse no doson sofo yentimi nkani nyina me feel say ye nyina ka se ye nya de a ye betimi aka ni nyina na last week ansa na ye close no brother Natty Dazi any pastor Patience or say ye to swatch say ye can't say ye be sha se afi ho no enti no sister ya atovra ahofedua any oba wonim de Mema Wakwaba, and good afternoon to you as well. Into no mesha say because me try picture of it. Na me pese me re befi baby aye gina ye because wo koye sa hwa na ohu akokyere rough. I say wunim ne wo ka, I say wunim ne wo ka. Enti memma wo ayi akwanya na wachia adofo ne atiefo na afe ya sha say Mr. Lee Patterson. Mr. Lee, Mr. Lee, good to see you. You came at the right time. Mr. Lee, I beg you, drop a bomb. Mr. Lee, we're still talking about domestic violence. And Sofo.
Yo, I mean, so as like I said, the boy young couple say, "We are doing ye among fathers we with all COVID when you're many and to the main Eddie cat no do say ya." Said the Paul can't wait for no say. Ngay awarding and I ngay ibibia ya ye mo ayo nyame adom na akwa ya bedu sisi
No correct.
And nti the past akwa so echia obibia ode na adwene ni bia ni dansa bo aye ane wona wo hwe nyina na je wa bese wo si edege bibia no nyankopon ya adom ama ye nyina nso ya dia ka bom na yetimi aye bibia prepare said ye di kan no domestic violence there say ifie adu a akanfo se sa asomrofie adu a na kramanya dabre bra ebia first no na ye taye muchia ewo fie no se yesomuja nkama na ye sheda ni special place here do moto
no correct
nti osomuja na se jane wo mu na se jane da kama na otu nkodem but oyiyi ayine nyina afi mu a na emudu a wo bana kama no se ga ba bia da
no correct
achaye nse bibia ho ehye no asomdwe ni ho but bibia ho ye din no ho ana nipa da nti bacho be fa kwa we so achi obia
ye je wo so sofo nyame Israel ene akoma pa ekita wo ene nimde nso a wo because it is say sometimes in nsem wo ho no ma ebi mu hu ne seketwa bi enso na eso pa Mr. Lee, when you say sister love for the anu akumyu sister love so my beautiful sister Ohima Rose too Akwaba enti Sofo hey sister ya to process a topic was say she's going to try her best to restrain herself because ono so atona akoma so na minimu say ye nyina ye be talking about domestic violence because I see a boy sister no na omo was at be anim ni ye nua mema bi mu nso ono nso ne yire bu ne rough so obi mbre o wa ma me ku me yire nso no ono ni ye bu ne ku no omo nyina ye be we hoping say this will help. And so for last week, answer na ye be close no. Brother Natty Dazi e di assembly tuja. Na sa asem na wodi tuja no, ye mu bi aka ho asem pen. But to say aya sometimes in assembly wo ho no ma ye ka ebi mu taking it seriously but and ade bi a etimi ka emema bebre hye se obema bi wo abusive relationship ne hoka for oba bruno mistreatina wontimi nkwa abonten koka because onim se wonya bie na no ape ne nanfofo anase nipa e wano ho anase okọ police station kra akọ ye reporter omo besre no enti brother Natty does the asama okan and say it's better because earlier no be can say and maybe no ma emotionally or psychologically they're not strong enough to go through embarrassment into obi no ma utimi efa saa kwane so ekune ho esa se ompese nanim bebu ase asem bi esi na wawe mu ntino enti brother Nati asem ono kan ne say it's better to die than to allow your wife to beat you. That is embarrassing, and that is just a that's a serious matter. Pass it the essence say obema wama wo ho kwan anaso obema wunni the emotional and psychological strength, because you say mema ma ho the physical strength essing yen and my physical strength obema ne yiri timi bu no say they don't have confidence, and I say embrabi na esi kwan na ama no refraining itself, but maybe wo ho no ma emotionally and psychologically, they're not strong enough to even speak out for themselves or to put boundaries within or in a partner. Inti be maybe wo ho no ma ne yiri timi bu ne pa or share with verbal emotional abuse, then it triggers down to the mental and psychological. Inti se be ma etimi ka se yes wu be wu esin se wo be ma wo yire abo sofo wadwe nkyere wo honom eti sen
yo mama ya daga mi ase ai me se de oti kan no de di kan no science for am ye hu se yo bibi o nipadie be fa no hormones ba de bro ho a awo masculine hormones awo mumu a ama amo ho adiri
oh yeah me want to blow ni pa hey chale wa nkoto a down
was said yes tie ya sha ya said we yere said ye na so me kai say yakobo obi asu ewo nsuo bi mu na ya yere ye ho a ka odi akwa to nsuo no ba ya bo na su na afi enema sesa no said na ne ho aye din na afi osi eye no na hardin sanse that say awawari mu said obi ka awari bebre wo ho a emema eni anijegu ya fa say yeni kan enyi emotional anto ntempo kakra
no okay
emotional na mo yamra physical no emotional body aya na bebre wo ho a ebi mo ho ambotumi aso ano kakra but emotional da aya na report to kampo na obi nse da ntiase because na the physical no anu dem anu mum na yana to be hard pa
hey Sofo, when it comes to abuse na emotional and the psychological is the most dangerous one, because I don't know be physical no say I don't know nipa hu, because you see abu na one mafuanfu and that's why yeah will be hu, but the yen hu no and only the most dangerous.
Because the chance every physical
mate
the chance every physical na emema ni we ru ato aso na tna pepe
mate
dey kan no say dey gina yesu kan de bia na na kan de bia no obi ahụ so ba ma de no ho adi nti ayo kubiri mu ha no ka sem bi si na say de yesu mema mro
no problem
no na ka say yesu ba ma de no ho adi say ba ma ne ba ne wan tuma ngane mema sama ya so de say me kra ba ta no han kra no ka me ye chen
my dear sister Victoria Champon welcome
ne ni ti ase anko beba ma ne ba oba be ye de ono oba ko ne hwe na wantimi anye no ekwa ne sa I know so esi e wo fie mu nso sa say fie mu nso obo hu se be ma e wo ho e wo fie ho ono na okwa adwuma ba ono na se be oyi sikato epono so me ye de adidi na nso bia na e bada ho odi mu a odi na dwene be ma de na dwen ana odi nam ne mo e bana ho odi mu a na oni bi
no correct
ape asembi ba na say anko wiye ya yetumi bu no
ampa
na asembi say so ya bu na wiye ana ya ta bu ni ehefa na okaka na asem so ya ta emra na yeah about domestic violence now. What's that?
Almost definitely, I would say over 95% FA
If you say, no, I'm yeah, bill, I feel say, remember, I want in the time, remember the mona, it did a man. If you said, yeah, it's that you see, you wouldn't know we are a man and in so better be report to say, Neira Buna, you're the best friend. May I find I said, Neira Bome, we go police station. A honor of police station, the expectation, I say, because police want to hold him learning to know. Ombejina Emrano so e dey baby.
No, which Sana can say,
I feel go do her. It's a way you want to police ni Bama na so ba. Ombesire ni kwa ka ho say ah. O Bama we jina ho ba
So, mommy, I'm saying for Mr. Lee accounting because sister love. Men need to start checking themselves before making that move into the venture called marriage. So, Mr. Lee, true talk. And marriage has become a thoughtless move that every Tom, Dick, and Harry is making this move like it is a share game. But as a matter of fact, it is the one most serious thing as well as a beautiful thing. You know, bam, 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 bam. Mr. Lee, no crano, eba kope. Wouldn't mean caught around it. Our no, so for me, first, our own says, our bebre or honoma, it looks and feels like Obi or hon mo shia or ba shia bema, and I say bema shia ba. Then bebre empo emhwehwe say bia okay. Bema ya anaso be ya menena sha se ekwotu, right? Say bi oba no mentally, psychologically, no, or you sound over there. So and also you'll be or your stressor obet me lose self at any time. And I say ni fear some at the same ebusia some at the same and in a modern bo and so to say. So say social media ultimate a maybe or one man you almost can say send your bema and then a bedda a wompem. And when a man youth we need maybe that's all they talk about. Omunye our real mwajuma and our real so ne kwan worry and our real so here a juma pa because as soon man baby a titi and waka some way nipa bebra kasasam including myself as soon baby a titi or ban yeah I'll bring you totally different. Your frame of mind, totally different. Your nyansa ni your nimdie, different. Your ntiase, different. Enti no to say, ebi mu aye to say, aye game bi che say, me na fufu aware, me nuanum nyina aware, me nkwa na me nware enti no. Di obeba akohia ni bia, se nipa ni yo, se won yo, no, afwa because ebi mu hwehwe ahofe. Be ma no the genital size oba no sene ni to kese ni nofu kese physical appearance no and ebi mu hwehwe enti no ebi mu akoye se game bi ma me ware a oh after all say me ware na nyoma ankoyi a metimi agya ware and so what Mr. Lee said so it's a man being beaten up by his wife tied to that marriage or has signed an unmovable contract by which he will go to prison for the breach of contract? No. I mean, Mr. Lee, that's a good question. But say, Obi and Adrian Yajumobeka say, honey, because you maybe equal. This of won't so the at the same because adding our real and but Mr. Lee, me pato. Mr. Lika, or say the last he sent, or say, but as a matter of fact, it is the one most serious thing as well as a beautiful thing. No, I hate me pa because our rear enya grodi and our rear ejuma wo. But wunya our rear tia ni nim dia, you will enjoy, you go enjoy pa, who better peace of mind. But the winning in tia you go suffer rough.
And said or said your previous teachings you talk about our preparedness to go into marriage. You who said maturity in your idea. I feel you shall say Mr. Lee idea or the buy so said we can and then no be a one you come create if you are worrying.
Oh,
can
be.
Iti awaria no so share Bible one. Abraham brand ba Isaac nyiye na opesa okọ awaria no. Ana say Abraham hu se mebai be be wabi wani nti esa okọ awaria no. Abraham asuma the servant said, "Ko udu kwe we mu a ya be free ni udu ha Mamodia no come Jeffy. Na ko pay yire bre ba Isaac. Na bra okono. Bible said ogodru ebula bi ho ana nsuo bi ho. Na okono okuta camel. Ana say efumu. Na o say se be dru ha, odu ana say Abraham nyankopon. Wako Abraham na asoma me. Na kwan ya me koyi. Se menya akodru ho pe. Ma oba obeba meka che ne se oma osa nsu bi ema meka mali enum no ma minsu bi na meka odi ahobrase ebe ye no saa oba no enye meja Abraham asi ada se Isaac gire ampa so kwa no o se Rebecca ba ho Rebecca ba no o se nsu no ma me pato nsu a wo sei ubetumi ama mabo efu obi anim se efu ponko do ko nsu pa ubetumi se nsu ama mefu ponko anum anka na Rebecca said, "Oh, Mira, my do." And the casa on the can ye, and in Yama on the year in Ano. Emma, oh, who so obey your bar, the dinner to the Kufia. Namco Jenny and the Kufia, minimum was it. 2. I can't name one. Not Emma said, phone, social media, and Yamano. Titru, Ghana, and as I can for a memory, Naka Oko warrior. Wabusi ofo to me ekoko hwehwe oba ko na kokko ware no fie ana be ma ko na kokko ware no fie
no correct
na tede sika ne yehu said ye abusua ne tie se sa abusua we sei wo ware wo ma sai na omo tie ano so na ya to atwe ne ye se no si okoro nse se an one Bible mu die no ayira ye na ye ma ye so ayira ade ya se de sa na tie dia ma mi njaye papa njaye na se nya ko hu odobi na so odobi fira ye ne dia last me kan odo be wudi aka ma mi na odo be wudi aka pa ya na ye twa akọ afi ye hwe ne ma saafo na hwehwe se do di kan ye ni physical appearance nkwa na ye ta hwe girl we dey be din na che be din ma che be ne ko occasion bi obi be hu se we dey ono anu ni o
yeah eto na ma popin ye nya be bi mi nsato mi di be yesum ye
so na boy we see there the tikokwa ti obi anum anya na ye di agiri ba tikokwa ti obi anum no adwen no ti obi adwen anya ni asam no enti na ya pamu Kristo ye foundation awale foundation na say last ye kan so no so ye place of truth no ye ni ti awale ni mu dia anya na awale ye kan hu say ye de honam no ware a honam na anya adwuma if you say James say ahefa ana okun ani esano efri ba efri mo amunyansa ani mo amadi mu da na me say kan ho asem nti a kire say okun ani osa sori titiri ewa wari mu a nipa na na omodi kaka bo mu a if you say me hu ni say so obi aye Kristo ni a na so okwa wari mu a odi kan sire awade
no correct
we say pay no ebi ankoda edem ana sa nkwa yi kase brade me payiri na ewade kuku yiri da bisu wani And I said, whether who could there be seen. A bit of her, over to me, Oko propose it about the same while. I feel not also born pie. Beman so I catch a what dear to, but I'm born pie. I shall say, Sani Pano, Onyame away, Sir Odo Akuma Manua, a dear hintano, obey yacho.
No correct.
Jeremiah 33 verse 3. Jeremiah 3 and Jeremiah 33 verse 3 no. I say frame na meje oso na maka nsem ahinta. So call me and I will answer you and show you the hidden things. Nyama ahinta. Enti obi adwen a ode kwa aware mu ene se bia o se de dada ye gan no bia o oba we ada bema we de osika. Enti ma me nkora me nkodi bi. Enti o de se na oba aware no mu. Enti na dwen a ode ba nyina ye ne sika. Obi so ha o be hunu so wodan. Am so no na dwen oba ne say edan kwa. But na dwen a ode ba boa aware no ama aware na yi ama mfa so aba aware no mu de eni ho. Ti se wo mu na say scan san. I feel over short so the real person on the oyo. Ediama. Enti emma sa adwin na ya papa nom ene ya dana nom nya abotire wale ye for 50 years 60 years 70 years and no omu wu no ene no ye hu ni sa ehwemu kwa kire say is a udu court the biggest a year is a court ni face kwa a divorce every week among for a go divorce ebi o ha ebi aware acha 1 year ebi aware acha 1.5 years na asese ntakwasi aware nim na omujai now see you say yedi kan ko no ene ebi no atra ware asa for so many years yes omo now so woni adwene me say ayi akoyi di pa ho ade na amotra senti oben ntakwansa aponchin tokwa aware tokwa na ta aware aponchin tokwa ye pida ko surukuri na yedi amudi omuti be mu a na omatena se boko enti saafo na amadwi ewo omuti mu ni say me kwa aware akopɛ ajapade me kwa aware akopɛ sika me kwa aware akopɛ ahode no saafo ne de de do mu wu aware no a ɛyɛ saa na tie nanka se de di kanka ne se bia aware mu papa se bia mu suensua mo ho a obi suba bi ho a ye den a na me kan se wo ponya me mpaya suba de wo ne mu no da me betu ye bi a kyerɛ wo obi so ho a abra mu suensua mo ho na mo hwa kwan betu pasa mo betu ma na mo wi a ho
yes
I de ko oni pa suba de bi timi dead ama ye timi hu ne se ifa wo se se wan hwe ni ye na ye ne se o me ware mu bi obesa ani do be ware na wie no na afọ abaya to so abeto so but the person is here when you want you two are there you so in so what trans ya na aduani ni a abu ntumi ntin no nti pita na eba na no watu ase se de besi ya aduani ma manyi na afia ma ba ya so asem nti me ne bodali ya adwen aware ya ade a emu eya nije se two parties ni nyina no motem ho ase na mo nyina mo dom ho a ba ku ntumi nko etera bi a ba ku kwa tu kwan a ba 2 days a ba che de wako di ba sa afigo baabi and over friend what say what did he ono so ba fro oh why you say why ka say e ba che de ho na but sa ade no eni ho de a and de awale na adane mu nyina mo tidan ba ku so empapra bodamu kwa na ma set barrier e da to empa no so obi nta hye e na wakono nyonko hye
no crap Papa, brother Vasco, welcome. Your friend is Mr. Lee, and any sister ya to bring me say, discussion be omo having wahano. See and see a dear who got from movie. Yes, you could a crowd honum. So for the on your ready so be your hoofing, I made them person call honum kakra. Mr. Lee, it was a question be or say how does this men beating things start? I mean, I think that it revolves around different factors, right? the kwame like a ọbaa fa so etimi bu ne kun anaasɛ ba ne mmarima a ɛbo ɔmo yere anaasɛ ɔmo female partner no ɛno no ɛyɛ like part of a domination, like you want to dominate the person, right? Controlling, feeling, you know, most of them is coming from negative emotions. They were raised in a domestic violence home, abusive home. Mr. Lee, I know you know this. You just having conversation. Maybe or man, you shall see a bono, a say, or no one can say, you know, and so a juma when ye be. What if you on ye juma or ye lazy on ye on clean way? And so, one way the anisi fear or no crabbe dia saying, or be a wolf no lazy people. And you know, so we will be at we and who I didn't say and answer we is in control of the marital home, the house home now. It's likely possible you find yourself being the receiver, you know, of domestic abuse. And whichever way it switches to, it shouldn't be encouraged. It should not be condoned. But you know, in terms of wife beatings, beaters, now that's a wife, men who beat their wife now. I think that some of them are also caused by the rise of, you know, feminists, because to say obi wahonoma and remember brave, they don't like the fact that and maybe a team establish themselves and they are able to do a lot of things on their own. Without man, because bema bia and mema bebre, some of you no more dear any type of woman no mubet meaning natna, but bema be wo honoma or konwari anasa or chimp na or po ba oni nim dear papa or po ba chese or no na de bia no or pese your banner honum no bebe busa busano obey ohia dear one ho enti say they, in short, they like to have dependent women. Oba or no anka sentiment jinane na so every time be I will hear baby free or send a be control. But sister, yeah, I say na agrone bed and Sofo, brace yourself. Sister, I have to say my opinion is that men, especially some from our culture, go into marriages with this mindset. Maid service, because some have no regard or respect for women based on their outbringing, which is true. I mean, some of the outbringing, you know, it is so incorrect, it's so unhealthy, because most of our men are raised to have certain type of mentality or body. Like house chore, everything is about women to just say we don't even, some of them are not even trained to think that she is your partner, you guys are equal, right? Until Okasa Mr. Lee eba back na Mr. Lee say does this type of man get beaten by his wife? Which we all know said, no way, that is not going to happen. Some men might say, no, normal, and they are being the abusers, no, rough, Pasia Brunina, Pasia, where Jimmy, to say, what can be bisa. Sorry, Sofo. And then Sister Ayata answered the question. She said, Mr. Lee, no, they are the macho wife beaters, which is like crazy, domineering and controlling. Sadly, lots of women put up with it, which is so hard to believe. I mean, we have spoken about, we have some women who has history of domestic violence or abuse growing up. So that's all they know. That's their norm. And they will grow up and also go into abusive relationships. So for them, They see the abuser as the protector, the one person in this world that cares for them, because that's what an abuser wants. An abuser wants their victim to make them their Prince Charming, you know, and you know, they're the one, like, they need them, they break them, you know, they just break them and cripple them. They can't think for themselves. They cannot function on their own without the abuser being around. They cannot make decision on their own. Everything is coming from the dominant person, which is the person that is the abuser. So, Sister Yatobra, wow, you guys are awesome. So Mr. Lee said, hey, Mr. Lee, no questions today. Mr. Lee says, Sister Yatobra, why should, this is an source because Mr. Lee, the near feet, ain't you know, a needy, no, they man, but means to know, Mrs. Stentino. I say, why should lots of women put up with this? Because Sister Yatobra, I say, some women put up with that. We have like traumatic event. Some people who goes through some traumatic event, you know, it's not easy for them to break that cycle. In order for them to break that cycle, no, they need to first establish, you know, like identify and admit that there is a problem, because you cannot heal someone from the abusive cycle if they themselves do not see that there's nothing wrong with it. Because so ya bru will be free in kwala brim, ya abuse will be free in kwala brim, baby, or tnaye se wonu na anya ntumu se nipa wasa kofa no woni okofa no no onu nso ye the same thing, and only mu se eye abnormal na wonu anka se asam wo honom a uye den ontimi breaki saa you know, ono ehwa no betina, even se wo a wo ye abusuani anase wo a wo dono no a wo pese wo yi ni free mu no, de wo beka no de obesan akoka che na abuser no, enti no, it will create a lot of problems. And maybe nso wo honom a they put up with it because they omo so dependent na wo chese ofu se sa nipa ni honom a sofo ofu se nipa sa ni pani ni ho a ontimi emmobra, eno na is so like alarming. They are like, their abusers are their everything. And we have other factors also. Sister Yatobra said, Mr. Lee, I don't know impo marriage certificate, culture pressure, or bad mentality, which is foolishness. Marriage is your only worth in life as a woman. Which is true, because as someone is Yatobra, I am a Sofo apostle nana anyamesem ene ne yire asafo maami dora nana nyamesem na asafo maami dora nana nyamesem ta aka asem bi o si aware any the only thing and as sister won so ta aka wo komu a ye ma wo certificate ansa na chese wa entel na chese because when we get certificate of things now, you go school every and answer we be answer my certificate, but wait dear, we your certificate now and wash and one I near yes we you. And it's often we thought and all this is missing.
Well, sorry, yes, you can a baby, you know, customs, no. I know I didn't know be a body program. You say countries we are going answer the baby program for the new woman permission. Uncle. You want to say, yes, who they will yes, come once a month. I might be a memo, but Sabisali, the area or pay or the area okay. Yes, a top BB, let's have a responsibility no ever for one. It may yes, Obi so was say yeah, what trans we say. Sir, I have about who we are saying, so what I go, yeah, a brown woman, no, offer no wondering.
No correct.
There you are. And if I call the offer so, says the idea, but didn't soon go. Honestly, about to find out no could be no idea, no, for one day. There's one day when you do see the and I can almost say, I bet to us.
No correct.
I bet to us. And the last remember example we have said, yeah, if you never or that, maybe you want mind be not going to hear it. That's why the year times, quite a fast walk or no bow by money.
Not just ultimately no strategize everything because yes, upon Chenny news you never bruise our day or favor war. About winning the Ojan and Naso, none of them. Your friend is saying, Mr. Leah Busa Sembi, which is true because our Rijaya I said, like, Okuni or Yere, almost acted to send ye, they hate each other so much. To send ye omonka, and so no, Oma Ware pain. Or say, Mr. Lee said, does a woman or a man marry their enemies? I mean, I had me who said didn't be that so will be on pill be awesome. No, no, worry. And you won't be worry by force, and I say Sika Sembinti, and I say Bia or Pebusianja Padiebi, and over for soon in Waka worry, but it likely does not happen.
Yeah, especially every phone. Yeah, no, to the beer. Or baby or baby or her. We're telling my auntie. I want to be or no, Bama Casa could you see, and our banner could you see you. Eddie, I don't so. What did they be on him? Most about where they said it was here over fat. I see audio where the power number was, where the power number was. Question, my minister said, the balance of can, obeti. Did I go on that kind of question? But Obama.
Which fall into assembly sister ya kan I mean to say in that lane. Mr. Lee follow up on sister ya to brasam or can or say who said this as or bad the mentality marriage is your only worth in life as a woman. Who said or advocate this? And sister ya to braka said Mr. Lee, the culture propagates it, which is true because sometimes and you may be ebusiafo and I say the culture within Sofo and then I say Ghana for lines near studio omunya sansem no it's me Miss to say bia so there will kind no be ho no when ba na me be there me man na wari say ni say ebi krampa na ya grodi and so no dia share ni trimu and a sister ya responding was say no not really or perhaps we see the red flags but go into the marriage then trouble starts because a man be a home red flag in the beginning software hano honum so where you went to that yeah, what you mean okay. Because and many people are more relationship and also more and that's how they see the red flag and so they go into it anyway. As long as I had to break canon and then mana problems na share troubles na share. I mean when you tria send nipa we say we need to buy. No I worry no anyway. Obian force so obian fair to see with you so say by force by heart. But as I say, wunim die bi a wunim Anasa we nibre bi e wo wani so anasa obrapa bi a wo mpem mo no wutimi de wo ho kwahye sa relationship na akofa so many problems. Mr. Lee said, I know men are the beaters. So if a woman is said to be beating her man, it is not going down well with me because it is the man chain. There is something really wrong. Mr. Lee, meaning maybe Obano Bruno pa because Bema ne pe Obano essence Obano pen. And a Beman so ye eduma or ye na said ye ba Obano in some or catch papano, a be honuma with me, a sharp papana soon. And one year will be at say, or you'll be at say, Wabobra. So, but dentia, papa, or ye, you say, or do be enkrata, and a year, Juma, or no anka sending a ninkrata. Inti sankrata na wonino. Ama obano to me be or to me, inti a portion, a small portion of women. But yes, the majority of men are the dominant. Female partner. When it comes to domestic violence, now a mema abuse partners no overwhelmingly more than a ma but Mr. Lee, there are men being abused all around. Sofo, me pacho. Oh, Sofo, what's a frozibium? Okay. Mr. Lee said, by Sister Love, this is the 21st century, you know. Yes, I know. Mr. Lee. Obi on more that so time in the past, you know. Obi on ma just on graduate wonu baby just 18th century crowd wonu honum wafra by 21st century it's a problem, but you're right, the dominate of beaters are a mema oh so for besamba so Pastor Patience or say apomo ete saying greetings to you as well. The beautiful and knowledgeable Pastor P1. Mr. Lee said, hey, Mr. Lee, no. Mr. Lee said, so can such a woman of the 21st century not differentiate freedom from oppression? Mr. Lee, when we talk in such matters now, sometimes I ask myself some certain questions to figure out, like, how is it that this person is not able to do X, Y, and Z, and that person is not able to identify this or take accountability and do this or remove themselves from situation when situation is not going the way that they want. Me who light, I say light, adding me, and I said, meniswa. Is it? You guys can see me well because I feel like the light dim. And I said sunlight near free outside by the coffin. Oh dear Lord. Okay, it's good. Motimin Cantino. Fine. My beautiful, pretty face, sexy face, and it's okay. And like you know, some of them, they cannot remove themselves from that oppression because that oppression is their norm. Is their norm, Mr. Lee. Sofo. Oh, okay, that's good. That's good. Yeah, some of those women, in the 21st century, they cannot differentiate for real. Don't say that be a Mr. Lee Mika, and you always remind me when we talk to say, you know, our understanding and emotional intelligence, you know, is totally different. Some of them they really cannot remove themselves from a free baby was situation certain condition no woman no esan say eno na omudi ye de tete omo e na omudi anyi obi nso wo hono ma esan say o depend wo the dominant person no of say o removing itself na they will not be able to function very well, and it's sad. Mr. Lee Patterson says, so Yatobra, if the culture propagates it and the individuals in it is feeling the pain, I mean, is it okay to feel that pain that culture is not feeling? Hell to the no. And that's the problem, no? On say, so for a say, a mema omubu right? Mmarima a wɔbɔ wɔn yere na kyerɛ sɛ nneɛma bi wɔ hɔnom a even though no ɛnyɛ part of culture ɛnso no yɛde saa suban bɔne no ɛbɛbata culture so ɛho ɛsiane sɛ yɛ society and community no yɛse sɛ okun wɔ yere anyɛ wasɛdeɛ ama anaasɛ wo yiri di nsɛmfo a wobɛtumi atwa ne sotro sɛ wobobɔ nasom na wo put some sense into their brain te sɛ ne niti no adwen them so enti no nneɛma bi wɔ hɔnom krampo na ɛyɛ adeɛ bi a kyerɛ sɛ happen ɛnyɛ part of the culture and so ye man be part of the culture edi enti na ye man yes because it's oba no Mr. Lee kan culture no Philippine woni pedua no e na wo Philippine enti na wo tena wo to so na wo ma be ma tene nsa ba wa two pa pa o se baby am be pie na ye because me obi eni wo betimi de nsa aka me afa ne ho adi nsofo
Adeba ko say one enipa na be ma na kasa o yes na kasa na wona adwum dida nya culture wona adwum dida me de bia beta kan sam say Yesu kan sam bi say ade a fi abonten ko nipa mu de ngu no hu but e fi ni mu no ba na eye say ye ban say bia we obi a we educated wasan betina baby and biewa when we be like uncivilized.
No correct.
Two.
And I Mr. Lee actually.
Me can as there you have some say. So nipa twi no ho free onyankopon ho a na bi the tell of the body pa na fi abaka hwea. If you say China Stamina Cultural say Film Padia Bako any Oban.
No correct.
I'm not sure Stamina Cultural, so we agree to near Sara Stamina Cultural. And see me who idea Obi any who can say guess the ball Obi Asuman San what the repair say.
I am making times be not times now how my kai na ebesi mitimu to there make you point was it Jimmy I know yeah kwasi Jimmy person if you don't me that's me opinion me
yeah come me the people say Safo ni nyina no almost I am almost one way or the other no ma dwenu bibi wo ho.
Yeah, they're mentally sick. They're ill. Yes. Because Mr. Lee said, a man has no right to raise a hand on his woman. Bam, 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 bam. Because I don't know, that's wisdom speaking. And some phone or say a wife is a partner, not a daughter. And even if it's a daughter, you should not raise your hands at your child. Because utun sabo oba, a day, and not oba ni be free honum. And once I will ban besro, and I said, Bibi how will ban cry emotionally, psychologically now. It's not likely, say, obeba ne wa bekasa because wudi hu ahye ni mu ebi ofo so asem a wo beka no kra ebetumi ama abu afu no asa ato nsa abone biem very bad. It is so bad to say ye mema ni bi ade a enye part of culture kra na ye dia bata culture ena ye nipa no nso no citizens na ye wo mu no within no ye mu bebre nso age atom say obi
nipa bebre ho a omo ni abia na etiuma omo dira omo nanso eteki bi
yeah
bi ka say bi even remember bebre ho omo abuchiri a ebi omo yiri mo Ghana yo ma me ne beka no omo follow omo ma me de ne so omo yiri mo de
but you see Sofo and send me ha da bi o ha akoka no akofa asamaba medwin ho a ase wo be ma no enya wo maame na wo ne ne bobra woni oba ne na ebobra na ansa na wo tu kwan no wonim oba na ne wo ho ni suban anase bi a woni ho nom krampo no se bi a wo maame afra waka ato se suban bi sei na omuhu a at least mamre na nya abotre na wankasa efamre na investigate because asil bi wo ho nom a wakodru abrochire no opese bibia ba ne ho ompese bi kura beba oba na wone ne wo ho no so tama wunya ba bi nsi ye ne de na mekai ena mase wo ya ade me ya me dese wone me bait wonom ba wakotena watu kwan no esa san anibre enum ne enviousness num ne ade no asew etimi etwa nkontompo ekire ono ane babema won pene babema eniji otimi twantro so enti no sanwoma bi se no se ba enso mu bi nso abuse omo daughter-in-laws because even though so ebi kura omo kokrom no mu hu se omo daughter-in-law any bema bi gina ho di nkomo ebetimi abase bema no ne classmate anase na danfo bi long time ago anase oye abusuani onko busa ase engriti kura mani hu se wa hu no akwa telephone no afre ena wo call yes say mema samon ko a very bad. And you know, when it comes to the culture thing now, because of a certain condition, and you maybe wahonoma, ye nin emunum, ye mubinom, any emunim dientino. No aqua create problems, even when there is no problems. Wonim asamna se, wonim asam no fin, not wakwa create problem. Sister Elkia enema. Yema wakwaba obasima papebi. Hey, I see you. Last week there minim so better ho, but last week there one make a comment bebre. We lam the share hunti and na me expect so be ye. Enti Sofo finish your point na fin no and we no atako asema brother nati does the kind and say yes be ma be kuni hu esin say obema na yire abono no because ho hia me pa I don't think say under any circumstance no ye dwin owuo hu say bia manim be gu asenko ade nka mekume hu how eno de God forbid we cancel that.
Nti said yedi kaka no e kire yen say aware na yewure mu no domestic violence is ho a said yedi kaka no remember especially mema e bia on papa no etumi free mu ntem ana say ma me ne be single mother na what again say wabra hweriba nti ebi okwa na ye ba say mema ni akwantu kwa na say ye fie ba ko no mu nyina ti a said yedi kan gba amane ohu bibia opesa oka ena what say we didn't say I don't ba me no so kwa no so nyina butro if you say ya ka kire na say ojini ma me di say na yire na onne ti no ojini nua no ma say edi say na yire na onne ti no nda ho a ne nua no ma bra ena opia ene ekoye no ene ko hu say yire gira ha ane ko bisa na yire say be say so be hu a say ujane na dai ube ho na tintim I want to say, it's a bit of her. And Kuman no, and so no, any new baby of Boka Kahuna, Bama for class, bet me a Kahun. What will now contribute to have the domestic violence now? Yeah, come once a month. And the idea
to that. You're right.
I'm Bama no Quansam, about a man who's a bizarre.
No,
a man who's I'm with that system and a travel.
Yes, a man na ye ekuma for man. Ekuma make ekuma for man if you want to poisonous.
Yo.
Why?
I wish you don't be so also. Almost to me, yes, almost the artist of about volume. Nuku Nukoba, if you want to buy, no, the second years about each other, and then the same second. So we ever catch them and say, who's all about William. Now, on also, I shall see a deep. You could have come and be Kurana, never saw the Bob because honestly, you ever catch and say, almost the Nuku or baby, baby. And the chest said, it can't. No one said, Yan, artist so, and feel what you want. Deviano, how you come once and you bear your room.
So for that, as our artist, a hard dream pa, I saw what tia de asama, Wunya and to Boasiana Wunyamre. Would the abu and the baby piano and no to me many pecum nipa. Oh, any abusia 4 and now for 4 a conconsa 4 and only Oma Omundino Creno. A says annual man mujai because the new Sofo can contribute to a sad domestic violence because maybe
I did a hopper, sister, I did a hopper, or grandpa. Say you can Ebia or Wabia, Ripabia, Abia, or Buano, said the Telebia, Obisu Bobi. In the other do Abia, when you know about Kugas was say, Debia, Nabia, I have a discovered room. About the life from the air, you ever say, be a bit my national back, no bit my any ordinary person. None, Abia so. Now, a Jomunya does when I have a dicta. Sir, Koya say Koya opposite sex, a clear repair. No, what I say, and about this candy. And the way you know,
Wafano.
Now, I have a buffon, bitterness, no, any money may never crack a can. Did that go? So your bar. Uko fiona ba man man skalo amanska say ha anya me nyonko ba de we ba jiska o jawo adwumu no oni adwumu I don't know see
no correct hey Mr. Lee says sister law these types of men who always want to have or gain an upper hand over their women and use that excuses as this is the way he was brought up by his parents is absolute rubbish because they are just insecure and insecurity is killing them. Bam, 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 Mr. Lee, high five. Bam, hey, Mr. Lee, asemia waka to onum to say saya amfante timi fo no. Mrs. Sofo, nipa bia hu nya mehi. Enya me time. It said yamfante timi fo no. Yamfante ti and so what? Wo pese me na me de betete. Yamfante ti wa sa ene wunim si yamfante ti no. Fanyansa small one na da wutiri mu na wudi di nsem fon tantan no. Fashion ade. Use it to acknowledge something. To learn something productive. Acknowledge that no. If you were not raised like that, now acknowledge you have acknowledged it. So use that acknowledgement to acquire knowledge. That's what we're looking for. Because some excuses, no, Mr. Lee could go kill me or say absolute rubbish. This is coming from a male into your mana. Modie mabubu ni ashisha masun. Na mo si ye kan monte enti no mo no moyire mo be treat moyire like not a human being no woyire eye bema okun wo partner equal partner wo mema sam any wunim de sam you should not use that to get above your wife You need to respect your wife, respect yourself. Restrain yourself, refrain yourself from raising your hands at your wife. Because it is so ridiculous. Sofo, and then they are proud of being an abuser and also try to convince their victims, say, dear me, we're making a big deal because it's nothing. One nonsense is that we're going to go to move to gas lighter, which is something that Pastor Patient last week. Now,
but that's the end.
Okay.
Na somebody say, "Enti say basa oba bomi na me ntube nka ese se bi wu ana." Ni wo mu say edi kwan so wu. Onipa bia no ese se wu as a hero. Or a warrior. But wu.
Welcome everybody.
Our bra we coward. It means that uni ya. Wow. As a hero. Today, can I say, me yiri bumia. Apart from the idea, you spiritual and so on. You demonic. I used to have almost to me for so entity. Your demonic evil spirit. I want to show you more. I want to put away ding. Emma, yay. Obi who the other side, no so. Emma, it's me yes sir. Today, can I say, as I said, we pano, Bompire Silver.
No correct.
Bompire Silver, they said, Adia, Abel Luku, and I'm Yirimu, ever since I did Obisa my side. Adia Bel grab me Yirimua. I mean, ultimately, a ship is on. And what is the son?
No correct.
Luke chapter 1, verse 35. No, I say, now. About one catcher say, I already have family here. Baby, I do to me. I say, with God, all things are possible.
No correct.
I didn't be what we are saying, eh, dear. What done the children were doing, Pibo, already ends me your word, man. I already went to your word. If you say, or that about the chance here, no. Some more for all towns, whatever, most share my warriors, no. And when you know, Answer na saa de preko ne beba nti ade preko na beba no na ni nti na muso a oyire ebo wo no se ugiri se uye wa famu de a ani de di kan se ese ode mpaibo eta ewura aware no mu
no correct
na usire aware se awade ama no honhom emetena aware no mu na aware no anya sumdue fi se saa na odo Yesu ni kan ho asem so ese aware eya sumdue so
under no circumstance.
Daddy, Uku Hooper, no one tell Yankupon Brand said, do not murder or do not kill. So Uku, it means that you have murdered or you have killed yourself.
Wow.
And then Uku didn't ready anymore. I was never who attends, I didn't know Uku. But what they said, Wuni Pana, all consult to be able the kind only a riding casa. The testimony, you can sit your wife down. Say, I don't know, son. You're trying to your first or don't ever time as a PW. Because I don't know, something, and I say, money, but Bible says, or dog cataboni in us. It is a Odona, a woman, to son. Now, first idea number. Say, who will be of a so-called identity, and all sure. Then, if she is ready, say, on to me, or the account on to me now, and I say, I don't say, also by down, also. And see, Odakone, only in Nancy. Maybe said I couldn't hear, I'm all yes, sir.
No correct.
So one tears ya, necessary, sorry, pass on penny phobia. No money, no one transit. Na mo solve problem no. Se bi so a na bia wo so uni wa de kunti edi problem ne ba na. Wo se wo hwe. E bi se mema bi o ho a amoso ma no eya.
Hey, I asked them also for me because I no pay obi cancer some me cancer some no be so for so say a meme be ano ya papa or cancer back which the one here baby I do to be back of no. Hi.
But I guess I remember go home on where no normally the who say we be to call obiano do only have word na no ya.
Oh my gosh. I'm not laughing with what is I'm just laughing. You can on the sofa.
And what to me to you I say about to kwade a me de meni ahodi dem obabu me pa na nu akire so mai yaw pa na o say me so me yaw. So aha
you master degrees.
Uko me ko na uko hu kwanti na o ka je sende mai ya wa ma dan wusi wa na ke so we mini kwa so be yaw pa.
Obey what day?
Da na ke so be wa de pa. Nti anu no sa na say de ono ne ka no so anya abotire entie wo ye ne dia na e say ono so hwe. Nti ba ma ta oyire buwa na menku
That fans welcome.
Maybe we a wobetumi ade asesa niema ade wan so betoto niema yie obema awade aba ware no mu de hia na se obehu ade kwenti a ede no so antofa ne ba na afi so wasiesie ho ade ama ka ade peko ne se me na me yamfum so na oba nya kwan hweme a na mahu se me na me yamfum so na oba na suban de a berfa ne kata me didi se obesesa enti me pa eno emo no tofa sa emfama sa baba bia de ho a oyire tete wa menku because nyame anu de bibia ne ho a enye de e wo ho nyame betu ayi bibia nyame betu asakra wiem obehu say bibia ayi abonten kwa no lovers people be enemies and enemies also could be lovers
yeah
at the same time
Odonasa right
aha intetela mi so awale so betu asa odon betu asa aka kwiem e ma ejana de e ma ayede
anokre na Mr. Lee and swaka asama wo kan brother Nati does the last week asama wo kan and say is you better off dying than like going through the embarrassment of Woyire Ebebono. Mr. Lee says, so can this man leave their beating relationship than to kill themselves? Is it to kill yourself? Is to kill yourself easier than living? And that's a question, Mr. Lee Mikrampono, I'm wondering. To say, why can't you just simply leave? Because any wujai our real and answer relationship, what is the difference? Because the pain you're going to inflict to yourself, and then people that loves you, right? I mean, Saya said, yes, any type of death, I am not arable. But sometimes, it's so difficult. Say, Bia, who better yes, will be a kunihu. Say, ni pano krampono, just say, you don't even feel sorry. So, if the person through a emotional year, a difference, and ni pano, what you when it 3 months, and I arable because, say, Bia. Omanya emwa so munya no mudi so stand yourself but I won yari wo trimu pa na wo kokun because of wo yire wo ye be ma na oba bo de a na chese asem wo honom sofo
I never got a hero or a warrior always face facts or face facts but on journey
Sister he is not man enough. Bema obeku hu esa ansa wo se wo yira abu nti no wo mpese wani mbegu ase wo ku hu sister akua ni say you wonye man enough. Abba.
So I the same.
And Mr. Lee, if Mr. Lee said nothing, why should a wife put her hands on her man? Not just a bear money, yeah, dear, and send fata. Assembly or there's always underlining issue. Mean free, sir, comment, yeah, that's what I heard from Mr. Lee. It's say, me per se you go through with it. And sister, said lack of communications and trust. Sadly, so our relationship, and we here pass lack of communication, any trust no a hard dream pa. That is one of the coping skills. Say onipa bia wa wari o won wari yo. Wusia sa skills no because eba boa wo everywhere you go. Where dwuma yemu, wonam fofemu, we busia nsemu, wawari nsemu, relation, everything you do won kola entity yemu ni nyina ebe boa ewo kwan bebre. So brother Natty does the yemu akwa ba wo ba wo bedru time ane ending with what last week wasema wo kan because I said sister ba ko na kai obi na kan say emema bi wo hono ma omo yire no mo ebo omo omo beku omo ho insese omo ebe kwa akọ report na brother Natty does do the two as say to say yes be ma beku ni ho say ne yiri bebo no na nanim begu ase enti no na eno a good point say you coming back to it. Now so for your friends Mr. Lee Patterson said, why should insecure kill a man? Yes, it kills a man because he has gone in for a level above his head and has become too hot in his head to handle. Most certainly, it is the same to women who go in for men above her level. This same insecurity cases go on because of her insecurity too, most certainly. And to say insecurity, is all like, jealousy. Mr. Lee Busa jealousy, is the main point in it. We know it's a negative feeling. And the main let me go back. The main is insecurity. Jealousy ties into insecurity. So Mr. Lee said, what brings about jealousy on both sexes? It is insecurity. Because it's a wuye will be not say wuyo ba be mana wunji wuhunia. Sane besi. You are insecure about your whole being. And domination, when it comes to abusers now, they are so insecure of themselves. And I say, Obana or anything, or fool say, one year you be a more Obano and yes, submissive to them, and also Obana and so no, can be sooner when depending on so in everything now. Obama for Ebeji Sa Obano, every name some. Because of that, of his insecurity and not having the mental stability and also the emotional intelligence, that's their way of keeping that woman and make that woman a victim. Just say, obe limiti sa wobano no abema ebrono abeye adiebia obe cemente as the foundation of a relationship, put fear into the woman. Now will be our partner rather as they welcome. I didn't know so woman is Mr. Lee Patterson said, so can this man leave their beating relationship than to kill themselves? Oh, wait, my read it, and then brother Natty say I will say hello, Sofo. Lack of a communication, trust, so from sister Apia and my sister Apia, you awesome. What you try to talk no more effective open communication here and we are brab worry ya crow. In fact, we are parents a wapa way. Brother Natty does say, is it right for a wife to put her hands on her husband? It's never right for a wife to put her hands on a husband. It's never right for a man to put his hands on his wife. Period. Nobody on this earth has the right to put their hands on their partner or anybody under any circumstance, in whatever situation that you in. Like you don't have any right to do so. If you have mental sickness or if you have insecurity problem, it's your problems to deal with. And say or fix it problem it's where you won't will be your home. Some hoonings and tantano say be more get it to their head. Or bema a mema abusive no Almost person more dominant, their insecurity, and a play into that, being jealous. I didn't think Bema be or Niri Jana or say, Bema for pa, be forward, the make one free, we are to send you on no bow, we are say, like you are a possession. That is, you are an object. It is foolish, Pam, in some form. Mr. Mr. Lee says a man who gets beaten by his wife and will want to kill himself is a kwadonto. And and then sister Nima Meka we say Bema ni yire bebu na osi obeku ni ho no onye Bema enough. Onye men enough. Sana sister and man soka. I say I have to move with this. But nothing does this. Mr. Lee says, "Oh, Mr. Lee said nothing does it. Why should a wife put her hands on her man?" Sometimes it depends on a lot of factors. But to say when it comes to abuse now. A man hitting a woman or a woman hitting a man now. I will never encourage that, and I will not condone that. Nobody has a right to extend their arm and hit somebody. It's wrong, whichever way you look at it. And to say, yeah, the titi wo yamfan titi wo suyanyansa. Men fa eno enim kwasi asamo mfa wo Mintu sebi koto nsa emmo wo ba asebema na emema no so ombo omo ma emma no ye nyina ye nim so omo emema ebo omma no omo ho nya den enti na da bi omo nkoka ba ema bi entoka emma because you were sissy, you were bully, you were coward, you were a weak person. Abusers are weak, they are coward, they are bullies, they have no sense of direction, and they just feed on the power, having control. They are very insecure with themselves. They don't have a sense of their own, and so forth. The list can go on and go on. Brother Nati doesn't say, even if you leave the marriage, the embarrassment will follow you. So what? Let that embarrassment follow you, because you know what? For any man to focus on embarrassment, okay, my wife, maybe that wife has mental issues and you may have some issues, but you need to get counseling. Taking your life will not fix anything. Then taking your life, you will validate the reason why your wife has was able to put their hands on you, because they say you are a weak person. So emotionally and psychologically, not physically, emotionally and psychologically, you can phantom with certain things. We have challenges, we have difficult times, but if your difficult times is because your wife is beating on you, now there is something going on within that marital home that you are not getting it. So figure it out. Learn effective open communication and find ways to talk to your wife. The reason why they are extending their hands on you, even though it's not right. But to think of the embarrassment and for you to end your life, I mean, come on, that's extreme. That is extreme. But some people, when they have mental illness, or they are stressed or they are emotional, because when you're emotional, you can't think straight. You can do crazy things can happen. So the embarrassment, it shouldn't be a reason for someone to end their life, because that's just an excuse and reason. Or like, maybe the male victim is going through a lot more than the embarrassment. Something is beneath it, ain't that they choosing to end their life. But that is not the answer. Taking your life, no, and yet the answer to resolve what happened. Mr. Lee, Mr. Lee, no. Mr. Lee said, Natty does it. Why should am I going backwards? I feel like I'm rereading that. Sister Akuya Anima Obesima winning deal. I see embarrassment will wear off with time. Most definitely. Sister Krat said, Ebi anipa kakra bi na ate. And once you can relocate. You relocate. When you relocate now, some ever so to New York. And now we yirabo na mefa nse Ghana fo bebrate sa we yirabo no almost throw na we ni ewu a. And you too free New York na kwatena Ohio. And asa kwatena Virginia, Maryland. You can relocate yourself. And as a brown, who remove yourself because you can't bear the embarrassment now because of your insecurity. Now, then you do that. But pass, I will see who you who free we are say, hey, I didn't no. I know dear. And no say you need some professional counseling because your emotional and psychological aspect is off. There is something sinister behind that. Brother Natty does say, I disagree with you, Sister Kia. You don't know what love can do. Why women die because of love? Emma omu esa se odonti no. Eno ye kwasi a wagimi asam ene ye ka. Because me no odo a me woma me ho ne odo a me woma me kuni odo a me woma madofo no mo no. Me nkase saa odo na me woni nti no me di koku me ho aputo kofin kruma kota. Me nya saa de no bi da. Why? Odo enye wuo bia ho asem. Enti no se oba wono de wo so obewu because of odo no. Na chese na adwen na nya adwuma. Enye adwuma kra. The truth is only one. Say ya mekika, ya me excuse ne reasons ni blaming game. Oyare. Or baby sa oyare. That's a question I need answer at Mr. Lee. Mr. Lee, brother Natty does it. So one question be a farmer one, and brother Natty does it. The name some ye and ye move forward. The bet snap baby team and answers off from a boy. And he fakra.
Yeah, no more than 1 month. And then you say besides over 2 later, no, but what 2 years I said there. Then you.
Brother Natty does it. He said, as some the other two so are not so full canon. What he has here and I say, so one tear here. You want more Sister Queer Anima said, we are all different. That's the key thing. We are different and we function differently, emotionally, psychologically, physically, all around. Because they say, it is in terms of embarrassment, and maybe a big deal, man. Wait me. I mean, Brother Natty does is being real because I'm sure he has people closer to that. They talk about some of these things, and I'm glad that he's bringing it here for us to discuss it. A certain word, you know, a trigger man, a bother so much. A son say, or per se, or represent it in a certain way. On say like my pretense, your fakeness, your comparison, competition, different from Bema pretense, Bema a comparison, Bema competition, and Bema bebrom comparison about a dear and yanyan sasembia or just a most of them no sadri and adrian womutim no emfa bibia emo successful in the future because a dear entimi ma wonye successful in the future so wunni adwuma pa bi si wonsa no anasa wan pa adwuma pa bi anasa wo ye lazy you cannot be successful in the future but ye mema ni bi no sa na ehonum no ma adwen no ewo enti obi wo honum a or focus on certain things, you know, be on my embarrassment, you know, I did be a bit breaking, you know, in like the confidence, you know, would be shot we need that type of confidence. And our sister Queer Anima said, so sister Queer Anima said, we are all different. True that. Bam, bam, bam. And she said, I love myself too much to die in a toxic relationship. Sister, I clap for you. Most certainly. What? Miadua. There is more life and better things ahead of me. Bam, bam, and God bless you, sister. Your mind is in the right track. Hey, Nimdia Penny. Who could say because of love me ko? And no yapasia wa Jimmy asem nieka. Mr. Lee said, Natty Dozy, a woman should never put her hands on a man. How? Like, it is so. I mean, me kwatem to cross a make or bema because minim say bema who de eso sen me oba. But sofo pa nya mianim nukreni se me na me baby dreaming ho. Anasa me ni abusuani bi kasa. Anasa me ni mi kun kasa. Na se omumu biara eto ne nsa. And yes, no hair will break loose because anything goes. Hey, me who nyadiya ade kura me fa me nso me de be ye wa me de be di with them no me de be di with them because nobody has the right to put their hands on me. Ye susa no ni awofo no me yetian me de me papa o ma me ya danko me papa o mu wo obe mu ya danko no adu ebru na be wie na wo na nyina adrenjene o chena bibie mu be ba kodi nsem hu a no waye ba pa ba me wo fa bi de wo bo me rough na nka wa free mu nko te say me I don't care who you are. We don't sakamia. I have a reflex. Means me bobi. And fa who so was me said then no. Nobody has a right to put their hands on me. Period. And to insult me. Period. To disrespect me. Any negative aspect, no. Enti yen no baby say no mema bi no mu enti mini yentina because yentina honom na won kan yen hye yentina honom na won mistreat yen enti no independent women who have intelligence and uses our emotional intelligence effectively, no, and also work hard, you know, and do so many other things, you know, and we're not fearful of anyone. We cannot easily be manipulated, you know. Yanum say no maybe no, omani ye ninkomo, omani ye nkasa, and almost crampo some baba tente sa foolishness, no nonsense, you know, because fire ye lame. A man or ye timid, you know. A man to say attitude almost say, or bad dear, who kunya wa dear, so come on no tomb. Now we yet was said dear. And yes, sir, bear man ni bufu betimi de ne nsa kan hwe adwen de ato utrim se wo ma bear man ni bufu a obetimi de nsa kan. Sister Queer, love is strong. Love is strong, but at the same time, no, love should not blind anybody to die for it. Brother Natty Dazi, hey, Natty Dazi, what do you mean by love? Mr. Lee Manuel explaining by that. Love is strong, but self-love comes first. Bam, 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 bam. Hey, Sister Kianima. Charlie, we fantastical. Unim dieno. I love it. You see, Mr. Lee, dear. No kurano no they are two baby pepe bam bam bam. Mr. Oh. And then Sofo, as me, I'm losing my you. Love is strong, but okay, I had a and then Mr. Lee said, Pianima, how is love is strong? How is strong? Hey, Mr. Lee Wiyako said, Pianima, how is strong is love than yourself as an individual? Okay, I see. I disagree, Mr. Lee. What do you disagree, Brother Natty does? Mr. Lee, please rectify your question. Which question would be that? Natty does you disagree what? I want to miss me because you disagree. What is that disagree? No, entails because in what Mr. Lee I can't send be brave. Mr. Lee, Natty doesn't love. Where is that love? Odo na wehifa. Obia wani do nti wodo no wodi anyway. He looks like Natty doesn't is more concerned about people's views and comments. Mr. Mr. Lila, woman beating you loves you. Come on, man. Hey, asama obi kan ni so babu anopel. I put up and when I can't answer no. I hope that brother notice that one can't answer. The truth is just one. Bam, pepe. So from person may catch you up with the comments and then you continue. Mr. Kwenima said you should think about your well-being first, and any other thing is secondary. Most certainly, that's what we need to do: self-love, self-care, self-assurance, self-assessment, self-discipline. Self-everything. Women who die because of love is Jimmy. Hey, someone's and then they treat to make you come maybe one say pam. Sister Kianima said, thank you very much indeed. Someone Mr. Lee can, that's right. Mr. Lee says, if Brother Nutty is being real, why should you stay to let situation develop to your beating level to be embarrassed? No correct. When you being beaten now, and no, ya will be brabet me you who from sister ya to brass. Sadly, some don't realize the potential danger they are in. I have such in my family, can't get through to them. I mean, when you have situations like this, Sofo, and you're very bothersome, it's very concerning when you have a family member or a loved one in an abusive relationship and you see it but they don't see it, and you try to help them and you become the bad guy, the bad person, and they isolate themselves from you because they're going to go to the one person that you will want them to isolate themselves from their abuser because they see the abuser as the protector. So when you have a family member like that, or a friend, or like someone that you care for being in that situation, so for a day, I don't know, as some na betimi aka na say nneoma bi a betimi aya a betimi get it, this person to recognize the danger that they in.
Yo, ebufu ankasa. Anasa onipa ono ye kana sama wara gesa o ma ye nkam. Ejinaniwa mienu. Nipa bi wo ho onua bibi tani mu a. Ama ni kwasa tibi. Na before onipa bia bekọ tibia bia enye no bia oye pipa ono no fanse ni mu no bibi kaka kire no ewo ni mu no sa nipa na oye boni a unu no. Eti Yesu ema ye kwan be se miensa ye di hu onipa se de nipa sitie ne ri kan se Yesu de aye kwan to se ko nko fum wa kwa ne nchen ono no kwatena ase na kire no adepeko a wafum wo no aye similar to say obi nso suban bi a suban no emwo nipa no na wa bonte na fasa obuwa no masa suban no free mu. At first onko amako ne nchen na woni na di nkomo na wa kire le sinto ebi say ye kwa ye bayi ye nyare ye boaboa ye nti say wo suban bi na sa suban no emwo na edianguase na edianguase ba ba ka busua edianguase ba ba ka waware a na sa nipa no o wabusua mu a ai say woni nipa no tenase
no correct
na wo kire no bibia the shortcoming no and the weakness no wo say onipa ni gitum say mahu nanso minzumi ndaya ani de yere mpa wo baka mu Na nipa a ɔno aka asɛm sɛ me deɛ meyɛ na meyɛ obiara de ɔtumi fu a mentie no. Nipa a ɔde bɛkasa no gye sɛ deɛ di kan woma wode onipa no akasa kɔ Nyankopɔn anim wɔ abere a wɔnka ahwɛ nkyerɛ.
Okay.
Sɛdeɛ yɛdi kan yɛwɔ nipa bi wɔ hɔ a because of the cultural background nti sɛdeɛ yɛdi kan no ɔbo ɔba a ɛyɛ just ordinary thing ɛnyɛ difference I don't ɔdɔkɔ ɔde wo sɛ ɔba de yɛ bu ɛda hɔ saa me maame bu papa francis I don't know ko ne maame bu ne papa ba papa ne maame ɛngya awareɛ ana ne papa bu ne maame ɛngya awareɛ ɔtena awareɛ de nti hu sɛ okay sɛ wo so kɔ bu obi a ɔno so bɛtena mu saa nipa na awusu ɛne ban no ɛte saa no saa nipa no ehia kasakyerɛ a ɛbɛma no yɛde bɛkɔ na adwin mu ɛmfa nkɔ na no yɛde bɛkɔ na adwin nti nipa a ɔte saa no so ɔwɔ abusua mu a ogu abusua no mu ase
Papa
ɛyɛ abusua no nyɛ onyam no ɛnkɔ nti nipa bi a ɔno no n'asɛm a ɛwɔ ne mu ne sɛ mɛda mapa me ho meka obi nka bi anaasɛ deɛ ɔwɔ me mu na mɛsɛ mɛyɛ no ɛno ara na mɛyɛ no sɛ wodi kan ne kasa na sɛ woyɛ obi a wogyina abɔnkyɛn wokyerɛ no ɔhaw a deɛ ɔyɛ no bɛtumi
no correct
obi a obutayefu wandi awu a wopira obi
no correct
nti sɛ woma ne hu ne sɛ menu yi sɛ wadwene ne sɛ daakye wobɛyɛ saa de wei sei ma asɛm bi asi no baba wo nkyɛn deɛ a medeɛ asɛm bi asi wo so a memmɔ
no correct
ebi sɛ menim obi wɔ ha ɔno na sɛ sika ka wɔ ne nsɛm ati ɔtumi bu ne yere ɔbu no bata ɔbaa no so hu sɛ sika na wɔ ne nsɛm nti no ɛna wɔayɛ deɛ ɛtena ho saa suban na odi wɔ ne yere so no na ɔde pia abɔnten ɔde di atutu asɛm wɔ nkɔɔfoɔ so na ɔkuta kaa mmiɛnsa na ebusuafo ne ka na wei ka nti ebi wɔ hɔ ɔba akɔko ntɔkwa na yɛde no akɔ police station ne abɔ ne ka yɛhu yɛ na kaa mmiɛnsa na ɔkuta no watɔn baako aka mmienu sɛl ade no antu ne fo ɔkɔɔ so a kɔduru sɛ afei ɔbaa fam no afei ɔbɛtɔɔ fam no na ɔba no sɛ wo sɛ sika no asante afei this is the right time ɔbɛgya bɛrima no
no correct
akɔɔkɔɔ yɛ ɔkɔbɔɔ ɔbaa no pan afei ɔbaa no sɛ mɛgya awareɛ afei na bɛrima nam a wɔkyi nkɔɔfoɔ so ɔbea sɛ sɛ yɛaka saa de wɔ sɛ yɛatena sɛ several times nti yɛntumi nni w'akyi bio aware nti ɛnɛ ɔbaa no te hɔ ɛnɛ bɛrima no awu bɛrima no awu because ahokyerɛ no abaa akɔdu baabi sɛ afei deɛ ɔntumi ntena ase bio nti ne nua no na bɛfa no kɔ akra no sɛ ɔkɔɔ no so nneɛma nkɔyɛ yi ɛna ɔde wuyɛ
wow
nti so nipa biara na adwene a ɛwɔ ne tirim ne sɛ media meyɛ wei a bɛma obi a nka bi no ɔbɛyɛ but sunsunsuansoɔ no ɛbɛtumi ayɛ ɔhɔ kɛseɛ paa ma no a wanhwɛ ne yɛ ɛbɛtumi agu anim ase ɛwɔ asetena mu
no press off me that Mr. Lee Mr. Lee said nothing does it. Any man who loves his wife even though he is being humiliated by beating is quadonto. Because love does not hurt, which is true. Although anyone say, although Emma will go through so pain, love is sweet. Love is amazing. It should make you feel good. Love is positive. It's a positive feeling. And you know, to say like, I don't even understand. Sometimes when people connect love with the negative, it doesn't work like that. And you know, hey, Mr. Lee Patterson, Mr. Lee said, mind you, this woman is not your mother who was dumb enough to be a punching bag for your father. Very true, because sometimes, you know, people do things and that's it just do not connect. You know, the emotional connection is not there. Hey, I hope that's Sofo. Oh, Sofo, let me face a web frozen. And you know, Sofo, you're talking more about Well, that's Mr. Lee's opinion. Of course, he's sharing his opinion, and I quite agree with his opinion. And I think that we all have our opinions, and we can agree to disagree. So we're moving on to Pastor Patience comment last week, because Brother Nati does it the end by with embarrassment, and I saw Pastor Patience, and so a drop on it, when Pastor Patience made a comment, she said, Adwoa, gaslighting abuse is also very dangerous, pa. They question their own judgment and makes them deny themselves and be in denial. This is something that many times, and you maybe were honoma, a bit more pay attention to. It's say, unim adekra, now, yeah, I see the meaning of gaslighting. Okay, so let me see. Okay, let me just pull meaning of that. Okay, so the meaning of gaslight, which is another abuse, and Pastor Patience, thank you, is manipulate someone in open bracket, manipulate, and then open bracket, someone, close bracket, by psychological means into questioning their own sanity. So questioning their own sanity, which is what Pastor Patient put down. And what is a gaslighter personality? So a gaslighter personality, according to, are you serious? According to the Oxford Dictionary, defines codependency as excessive emotional and psychological reliance on a partner. In a gaslighting relationship, the gaslighter, which is the abuser, has the power to grant acceptance, approval, respect, safety, and security. He or she also has the power, open bracket, and often threatens to, close bracket, take those things away. So, like, this is their personality, like in summarization, we have Pastor Patient put it, they make you doubt your own sanity, right? And then you also, you settle for denial. At the end of Okoso, I said, like, it's not really happening. Gaslighter, the person, the abuser, no no kase ye we ya na waye obetimi nso aka cho say we say osofo say parent ni akra wo na akra ye adebone na parent aka chen say ne wuye nti no ene wuntimi use wo phone, right? Because wo awofo ene akra na wo kun na okun na ka cho say wo nkwasi asama wadi ne mabu wunti no anasa me de mensa aka no enti no wuntimi nyusu wo phone ne twensam phone ne nsam tantan that's the personality. No, enti no ewo power to take things away from you and you have no say in it. How is that? And then to say, they talk about when you go to if you Google now, you go to Healthline, health gaslighting now, it gives you signs of gaslighting. It's like no longer feeling like the person you used to be, being more anxious and less confident than you used to be, often wondering if you are being too sensitive, feeling like everything you do is wrong, always thinking it is your fault when things go wrong, apologizing often. Inti mo amutaye sa no, mun check yourself with that. You know, and then they have like, why do they call it gas lighting? You know, the term originated from the 1938 play, open bracket, and 1944 film adaptation, close bracket, Gaslight, where the protagonist husband slowly manipulated her into believing she is going mad. The name comes from a part in the film where the husband is using the gas and the lights in an upstairs flat, upstairs flat, causing them to dim in his own. And this one you can get that from, again, a metro.co.uk. We'll click it, that now that will give you that information. And then there's a question I said, do gas lighters know they are gas lightning? Even in therapy, a gas lighter may not truly be aware of or may refuse to acknowledge that their behavior is the problem. They causing the problem. They might refuse or will not acknowledge. Only be obekasi wonim anase wonim enso wonji ntumu. Even if a person is practicing gaslighting behavior without being consciously aware of it, they may get a payoff when their victims become more dependent on them, and then the cycle continues. So they start enjoying it and they become better at it. What are gaslighting tactics? You know, they are tactics in which a person or in order to gain more power, they will make their victims question their reality, which is what Pastor Patience says last week in her comments that she put. It makes much better than you may think. Anyone is just like, sometimes I'm trying to figure out say nipa bi sa ade no esan say omunim ade a omo ye pa ewo omabrabo mu. They know exactly what they're doing, and almost they are so manipulative, into onim kro obeka say onim, and if they don't acknowledge onjin tuma onim dia waye. So problems na ekoso no onu alankasa and we create a problem no, but to say and nyoma bebre ho they do it because it thrills them. They love doing that. They love being in power. They love messing with people's mind, the weak, the timid people, the vulnerable partners, and gaslighting may lead to say, what happens to victims of gaslighting? It may lead a person to develop mental health concerns. The constant self-doubt and confusion can contribute to anxiety. Okay. A person's hopelessness and low self-esteem may lead to depression, right? So like you start something and you can cause a person to seriously get sick, and this is really like serious. And you have PTS and codependency are also common development. Post-traumatic stress, and codependent are also common development. And it's scary. Sofo, what do you feel about this gaslighters, lightning people, like, or you or send your manipulate, I no fool say no I shall see doubt to yourself, who say be a problem if you and I say be a who go crazy, and I say so many things going through, they just messing with your head.
Yo, I'm saying I can afford cash to say Waboa bros.
Yes.
Wabo, but open so was a man come to.
Yes,
Tag of one is Anna. The women too, women are the home. Obo, the most obu we are as a ministry. I get what idea about I didn't know, yeah, as a man can't do.
But Sophie says, I didn't say in some phone tantan. I mean, why should I even listen?
Yeah, it be all right, sir. It will be all right, said it, but they're not the kind of set by my day. Nairabon. Fine, on the Wajat me said because of Honor Castle, and they be a power and here, the little go out into what kind of know.
No, correct.
But yeah, bonus. And if you are kind of making a police woman, yeah. So, and as everyone said, I said the last week now, a family member, Casey. And if I don't say, if I don't know, it's no or handling. But tell her, I didn't know how I did. So, until society there, do what I say. And two months said, Nemo dear, when the material explanation from dictionary, nature says, how do you gas and lighting for people in Yan, most know they depend on sound call phone.
Oh, most definitely. So I isolate you now. We're breaking so because examples so as a gas lighter, no, some of the example no bet me about you won't me like or where we down obebu abem so obebu abem and I say we could depend on the person, no, in your relationship and answer what worry no anything everything into no to say bia me fan say sorry to say wo panties kura wo hye no sofo ansa na say wo panties asen na wo so okotobia wontimi mfa wo penkoto panties no agire usa sa ipa no ansa na ono amma wo the go ahead and just say you lose your freedom and everything in that. And I said, "Wuni sa nipa no munya kasa na say bia wo try say wo gina wo na so na wa question sa nipa na the problem will escalate because obetimi no eno na betimi ama no na aggression no ebro no aba because I say we challenge no wonso eni kwa say we challenge no because wa bra wase so ho and me say sa gas lighters no light no omu chantro hey omu nka no kro and ne no kwan so a wo beka no kitwa bi dia kan nyina no wode bi aka ho they exaggerate about enuoma bebre and to say total domination or person will dominate you just say no you have no say who we are see what no unka nipa ho so dear one no beka no and yes wofa and obemma wo to say your friend is saying I say sometimes will be betimi aka say omo esa so omo ntro mu di no betimi ada wa aka cho so oh and now ti one in 2 years time my emergency ye beto dan ye dan no me save sika ego wo boa that's false hope one be that suffer
It's that almost a Omo, Awoma, our air can. Awoma, Asumji, Emma, were you? It is because so no bit a bear. That no, not a madam for be cancer, Papa be a normal to a casua. Really bad. The day a hard on the neighbor, so the neighbor, I'm more move you, don't know why I can.
Hey, not just what planning ahead.
Our shot said better 1 week. I know better that who are him, or who are him, like as a money now, or be able to say, Abum. I didn't know be able to go for better because Obon you know. Ha, on say, so no more free, and I'm more on the year of Pata. Nasa Bassa, on your Bianca, Obadana, on the year of Kwan. Obokwakwaso and after the yene party ente mu say mumro na mekunkumia mo were enti odibakwo na madam fro kan sase say odun kwa na adama ni gbofu na no so gbofu adama ni beto no so asere da kura ma ni fred ka tell say we good pa so fortunately now odibakwo no say opposite sex onu say oba na say ka wona ka me ware wan ka wale ke betina mu pa because the camera who are there, if you have beers, Robia, and Onkwa, Umia, which will face me, Sada, who are Mrs.
Oh, I see. This is Ayatu brother. Indeed, they are nurses, you know. This is Ayatu brother. So well, see, prisoners of foolish love. I'm telling you. So for a tempano, but that is so funny. Just say, who Osro.
It is highly part of who knows. Say, on that be on himself. What shall you think? Or kind of host I know if you know, Obia said them. Remember, no one who's said them. A man there. Because I was sure said the Otini on the unit here. Tell us your bar almost sure that every other pata or their bombs. But the neighbor when your can't ask no uncle pattern to quality, you also on my home. Move deo and fan of you. So, in the case, as highly family, I was how should be a woman say. As I said, about that, I didn't say, I can probably say, about only by money, a bunny yacht. So,
no crack.
About the fear of money, only a bunny yacht here. Nesabani fear of open up a bonny money, and any money. I was
a brew, pa, no crack.
But as I said, one will say the fear, baby, I want to know. Open now, fear, baby, no. If you want to be you did not Adwoa Odo punching back, no punching.
So sad. And I sister queer animal say, brother Nati does the earlier no can say the law favors a ma. America Chrome has the law does favor a ma. A man beat me contra. So no the system no go against Bema, which is so bad. And a man being to take advantage of that. But since I and America Assembly and a mania Jehopa, was it is not about laws favoring any party, but an abuser is an abuser, period. You know, to say sometimes, you know, we have gone over the level of excuses, reasons, and blaming game stuff. You know, wrong is wrong, right is right. So we are the right thing now. Why are the right thing? We are the right thing now. You need to be held accountable, and we need to make sure that we point that out, because it's a mikun ya the and sem fata. Minka say, oh, and I meka mikun bube funti mink. No, meka, but may you su minim dia me wo. My emotional intelligence. And ya bufua samoso. And I say me nya the right time, the time my husband is like relaxing in a good place, you know. Not to say I say measure small and say, and through that, you know, then no, not I say killing me softly, in a good way. So now BB and Koye, no, they are 2 years because it's a gas lightning for them. And some people no ma last week participation the to one na me kind so mote me kind meaning of it no ne some personalities no ne a behavior bi omo kire no omo ye ba omo nso san ye nipa bi a ebi wo ho no mo ye wade wi a so na sa ade a me ye wi enye big deal che say eni kwan say wo ma ne ye ade kese bi because ye kitwa bi na wo experience pain no aka chem say ye kitwa bi ana say wobetimi aka say wa bawasum no ehun so wa bawasum o say me ma bawasum ana na wo make things up say me ma bawasum ta me na me bawasum enu no so ho ensem bi obeki kan okra be hye wabufo ana say obi wo hono ma otimi bo wabo bi a che say enye nyame anko akomate was I was just joking. And also be cancel for say na sa wo krampo no enye nyame krampo anka wo nka mempel so wa cancel asem we at so I was just joking in some funny in some time no I catch and also to me because you must say no some common things you stop doing that, you are paranoid. One will get you into a situation making you anxious, right? Because when you get anxious and also get depressed now, and you ma be brave, it to me happen in life. My dream ni ade na yes sir. What dream so until you go through a lot. And I say be bet me I catch us Johnny, I watch no stop acting crazy. What's wrong with you? Minsa kakra bi a me de ball na wo ka che me se ma ball no e de asem na wo kan mu twa ntro enum ne ade ana say bia you are so sensitive wo de anu di agro kra enye de enso asem a waka no ya be ma ka che ne yire se ana so ba wo ne da se na sebon a wo so ye sensitive asem we ye ka kire nipa na yeye enti no sa gaslighting abuses no. They say a new mom they use manipulation to like have you think otherwise. Whereas you get to a point in now, ubetimi and your depression, which is like awful for a human being to do such things to somebody that they claim to love, and even cause you to start doubting yourself. That is the most dangerous thing a human being can do to another human being, and it's sad. It's really sad. So Mr. Lee said, why is it particular woman in this kind of relationship? And then okay, and it said they're going back and forth with the comments, some question being nothing does it. Mr. Lee laughed, nothing does it, you are Mr. Loverman. Please, brother, nothing does it, Loverman. I don't know. Sister Queen must probably because of her case or criticism by spectators or family members into no that's what our reading is abusive marriage, and no the masokra. But as some a fact because a man be a stay in abusive relationship because of omumba and I said the nipa beka and I said near ebusia beka and until they be moving kwasi ewu no because na because say who were through an abusive domestic violence home and you choosing to keep your children there now, you are also harming your children. But Nati does they say have ever seen a woman abuser being thrown out the apartment before other than men at Sister Queer? Okay, Sister Queer, I mean, like most of the time when situation comes now, even if it's the woman being the abuser now, law enforcement will not put a woman outside because women can easily be raped, because women, we are vulnerable in some area. A man can handle their deal, but at times, with certain circumstances, it's not fair But at least, like as a man, like you can ask the police officer to bring you to a hotel or something, and then me, I'll bill it to my wife. If my wife abused me and I have to spend, I'm a man. If I'm a man and my wife abused me and I have to go to the hotel, now once we resolve everything, now she's paying the bill. But I understand what you're saying, brother Natty. It's not fair, but to say that has nothing to do with the law. They just protecting the women, because if a man go outside or a man sleep outside now, it's less likely for that man to be raped than a woman sleeping outside. And I say so for me, boy. But Mr. Lee Patterson says so. If she dies in the course. If she dies in the course, what happens to the same case she stayed and died for? The abuse will trigger down to the children. And some people don't realize once your abuser gets tired with you, it's going to trigger down to your children. So like, victims who has children and keep their children in that unhealthy environment, they put in their children in danger, because it's going to trigger a whole lot of other things. Sister Pianima said they are maltreated by these same family members, and spectators become onlookers, which is, I mean, like some situation, you look at some situation and that's what becomes it. We just need to stop. We need to stop looking for reasons and excuses and the blaming game. When you are in situation that is unhealthy, that is not going to be beneficial to you, you need to get yourself out. And with children, my children, hey, no, my children, when I was not raised in an abusive home with my parents. My parents have their disagreement. If they're not talking to each other, we will see, because of their interaction, we will know that something is up. But they never fought in front of us. I never saw my father hit my mother, and I never saw my mother hit my father. What they do in their bedroom, that's a different story. But we never heard live voices in their room, whereas they cursing at each other, or like, no. I did not grow up in that environment. So my children will not grow up in such environment, because it's toxic. I remember like when our kids were like very young. Most of you who knows me personally and have met my husband personally, maybe a 5'3", me was on so to the extreme, but he's a decent tall man. Nti no nkura no ye nkete no na me kun so wo high pitched voice. The voice is very loud. Nti se wunnim na se bi ono kasa na wunnim na abeka se bi a wo kun ana se that say there we tone wa ye the voice ne ho adwuma. Hey, I'm proud of him. And as I say no, he can like control his voice. He knows the volume that he needs to tune into. And you notice, like, I remember we had a conversation about it. Say enkwala no esa say ono one into say bi enkwala ne ye ade bi ensem fata na ye so onu omo kasa ne level of height, say or yeah, aware of it. Either say or betna say no onu omo kasa, because I say papa tintin wu gina honum na say wo tia akra na ebe ma akra ne hu aba akra ne mu. And as akra ne be feel a certain way, obesuro say bia wontimi ma ho enum ne ade. And my husband was able to, like, adjust things and work on certain things. Say krampo to say me kwa abonten me kwa abonten kodi dwaba na say me bie yapunya. Before I leave, we always give each other kisses. because you're doors, and we give each other kisses, you know, and we say we love each other every single time. Me red me frabontin be fie me bie pono me be fie na me yi me pabo hi guys, you know, love you guys, they say love you too. So mu use electronics na omumu bie ni ho no mo be sorry aba ba bia me wo no me na me call her no a peg in the forehead on the cheek. But the minute their father put his keys in the door na sofo me baby omu shetokro bia ye meyi shebia omu ba because corona eva eba ye omu papa free edwuma ba omu di omu 9 echia. The fact is said they omu be walk to omu papa ansa kra no omu papa de na dwuma mu bag besi wono. They will walk to him no omu di omu 9 greeting no ma kwa akotena se. And you know it just it's amazing, it's beautiful. Yeah, sometimes you know omu ya many beba me ho so no mintimi record it, but it's so beautiful. The fact is said as a tall big dad not waiting yet develop a lovely relationship with the man. Just say you can't grow wrong with that. But the same fan senka minimi kundi komo about in the height, you know, any position or position itself and krane yard ya no tiom no mo kasa in the tone of voice no for senka mi kun and me I make changes in that na ko tietiom bibia no tiatia no gina omo so anka nkra no nko re yi man ko mbe ne sa. It will never happen. So enti no enuoma bi wo ho no ma ye ewo ya wa refee ye mema no munwo a role to play and a yen ma warefo no ma no so in general ye wo role to play. Ye nim say ade bi wo ho no ma ye ma ya the same mema and ade bi wo ho mema ya the same ma but bibie be ye wo ya wa refee no it affects enkwala no. Enti say we your ba no ware na say wukun ebo it's abusive to you na ka say esan say wo mani nti no umpese wo beja sa be ma na Mr. Lee asamo kan kwa donto kwase a wajimi why do you place yourself in that situation? You don't like you harming your children and you building your children, you promoting your children to also adapt such behavior. Onunsu nyina o mamema onunsu okofo oba obebru oba no oba ba okofa be ma ni dum no onunsu say san say me menti not aware fun aware tantan ho enti no sa ayini de say me menti ni de eno no sa excuse no it's long overdue. So we meant to betna our unhealthy marital home, unhealthy relationship, unhealthy our real so for any can would you know na ye wa wujejreje me adwoa no nyam na me betu fo ba me de metu me ho fo ansa kra na me go into relationship with me kun na me ni me kun ware mfiti ase struggle because ye me no nyana na enti aware ase. Mr. Lee can be our a serious matter. Men dream say, oh, me kwana anye ya me free. Any men komukra. Do your homework. Address a premature situation. And you ma ube huno infitiasi and address it before you go into it. Men kasa wo kwano akwasisan because enye adwuma ma. So for me pa cho, the opposite or cancel no.
Oh. The answer is and you discuss it nipa almost ba kwa to say me ya de na nya kra ma mo bi nka because me manu su me hu say eye na ayo how kese pa ede or how kese so ba aware mu
no correct
onipa bia nipa bia wo weakness na untumi empa ho ncho
no correct
na maye maka usu kwara me le mo ande ke ka ho no sa nkofo mo tsa omo de ntokwa eba aware mu pa Now one way or the other, so omu munipa.
Bam.
Omu munipa intino. Saa nkɔfo ya omu tse sɛ ya omu tuban ɛne omu niye bi ɛne omu abrabɔ bi etumi wura aware mu a etabiri bi a omu saa suban na omu wɔ no kwampo na etumi pamo yebusua akwa afiri hɔ.
Ampa.
Etumi pamo yebusua afo ebi sɛ me baba yi ne yere ɛbaba yɛ cham wɔkeka nso a ɔsɛ ɔnyɛ ɛbɔne. Me baba ko yi me ne kunu baba yɛ cham wɔkeka nso a ɔno nso kasa ɔnyɛ ɛbɔne. Ebi ɔhɔ a de ehu ni sɛ ɛsɛ sɛ ɔngye ne ho ntum sɛ wafom ne yere ana ne kunu ntino abi na kwata akɔ sia wɔnten
Williams.
na ɔkɔ abɔnten akɔ yɛ ade foforɔ wɔ hɔ.
Nane.
Saa di ko ya ɔmusuban sɛ saa ya ɔmo te aware mu yi ɔmo ho adwuma na ɛsɛ yɛma yɛn nuanom a wɔhwɛ yɛn ne ɔmo a wɔde ɔmo comment ba nyinaa no yɛka bom ne yɛhunu sɛ so obi ɛwɔ yɛn mu so obi ɛka yɛn ho so yɛaware obi na ɔwɔ saa su no a kwan yɛbɛtumi afa so a bɔne bi ɛmba mu. Minimum owura bi a ɔde akyina sɛ wohyia no a ɛna meyere wayɛ sei ɛna meyere ɔsɛ sei ɛna meyere kɛsɛ sɛ obɛgya aka ne yere ho asɛm no sɛ wohu ne yere a woane sɛ wobɛka sɛ sɛbesɛbe nwansa bɔdugua
wow
wama ne yere no ho abɔ waa ma kɛsɛ obiara hu ne kura bɔ no a ɔhu deɛ ɔnyɛ
osuro
wobɔkɔmbɔkɔmbɔkɔmu no na ɛnyɛ saa na ɔbaa no nso ɛteɛ. But ɛsiane sɛ deɛ wayɛ wo ne tirim ara ne sɛ ɔbɛyɛ adeɛ bi a ɔne deɛ ne deɛ ne bɛba a ɔbɛka na ɔbɛka sɛ ɔme deɛ meyɛ correct meyɛ angel. But here is the case a meyɛ na mene ne ten deɛ ɔne deɛ ɔyɛ agent of the devil. Saa nso na mmaa no bi nso teɛ. Mmaa no bi nso ɛwɔ fie a ɔne ebi a ne ku ɛkasa a nano tra ne ku nano no ɛtra ne ku no nti ba America say me for asem ma me so me say kasa ɔno so pasa ɔno so hyɛ ba no so na ɔka ba ni tim ɛwa wariye no mu nti no ko sia ba ma ɔno so pasa ɔbɛka na tim a na domestic violence na fe na ba hyɛ ase wɔ hɔ
no correct
it's a people the man ayi saa de ayɛ no I'm say mebusam Proverbs chapter Proverbs chapter 17
no problem.
Proverbs chapter 17 verse 14.
Verse 14, okay.
I say, into kwan fiti ase te say nsu a anu atue. Enti ɔhawo no mu anya den no gyan. Into kwan fiti ase. Sa domestic violence no. Na hyase no te say dam ayesi na ya fere no nsuo mo. Yeah, so I down no man you better you bubi gu from. But I see Australia. I'm on the other side, you know. Friday back home. And the man a dam no kwa nyama. And like I saw best believe you. Sada Solomon episode actually. If a chance as for corner. The governor almost saa no said udi kan no amoye nipa amojo amfun so tum obetu abunu kun obetu abona yiro we na asafa ko na kase hwe de oye wa ha
wow
so na amma efie na ye womu no efie no asumdwe nim said ye di kan ho asam no na making kan book bi na or the countries bit say Yemen, any other countries need you or say. I would then quite say, yeah, two was say, or area was a papa soon.
Sir, I suffer when I am a dream. Who I meant to say, to say, my main family say, say, almost a yam penny for a cast as some now. Some will hear what dear papa na soon. And when I must abuse, you know. That's not your society anymore. Actually, but it's everywhere. America has say, you know, abrofo, before, and all over domestic violence. There, America krum had dear. Ebi mu eno na yo man pesi. Pa. In this country, hey, and easy cry suffer.
Until you have a catcher said, men are me a bema will be a ha. We are much sure said men are me a bema. No, I don't catch you. Men are me a bema will be a. We are much sure say, men are me a bema, and I guess I'll know about Kunu. So we are bema to send me out. Casarame more soon. Sabo as soon as no business by Canada. No, let me a bema. Masabian says, Sabo was a desert power panel soon. Now, Otu was a men are me a bema will be. Not on the year, man. It is a crop of people now. You don't want to cut that lightening people. How many difficult? Difficult, and he said the explanation is here. I'm on my bottom.
So for gas lighting, emotional abuse, a part of emotional abuse. You know, my victims, you know, adult trauma feelings, you know, they question their own feelings, their instincts, their sanity. Na ema ebi mutimi bodam no, because edru baby after the ubesha asie adie di say bia there is something seriously wrong with you. Almost it causes you to get sick, get depression, and so forth. And you know, I mean, those people are dangerous. I'm Pastor Patience, and according to dictionary, you know, it's dangerous and very bad. Emotional.
Yeah. A bread you say. Anyway, we are 2 years to be so actually, it's about worry, no more corruption. Because it's a different could do where we say, yeah, you know, we are Munya, my bra. Munya, the Perabi. As I said, depending on who said, who have you or control Nipa. Now, all you pay ye. Now, to me, the Nipa still be a hot, I know, to me, son, no, you. Because the can be outside. That I can, yes, or say, as I said, he is the Prince of Peace. The baby used to Tibia, our Mubia, our year and as we do, because we are not a sure in the middle of the sea now, not storms, Nayaka, I was he was asleep because he no knew the obey. You're for the yeah. Nobody will say, yeah, nobody will do the yeah, I hear Peter say, yes, Mammy, no, has always been very bia. Umber of Yesu. Yeah, into Umuana. Our yeah, have violence, no domestic violence, no. It means Jesus Christ has been thrown away from the marriage. He has been kicked out. Say, kicking Jesus out of her. Yeah, carry the young and yes, sorry.
Say, be so crown high, or Munyan Sunny or my dream, and you no more, and yet, Juma.
Say yes, in a man, so James 1, verse 5, was it a cow binyan son? Oh, Miss Ready. No, the mapa. So, say cow binyan son, oh, Miss Ready. And she said, oh, yeah, baby. Now the person who wouldn't me dear brother. Now be said ready. Ask who call when you know I so trying to be out there in your buffer. So if you say what be sano, I don't know them, I say or the mapper. If you say yeah, sano. Trying to say yeah, sano, sano, and you on your media and go. And then I must uncle for ya come once a week. Or your body cause him in your body.
Answer more. Suffer. See, I mean, it says domestic violence. You better revisit it, but it's next week. You better talking about different topic, and not in due time. No, you better the about. But it said me person ye timi ka and new maybe no more. To say victims of domestic violence. For Nana say like yes, victims of them. Omo betimi aye anase adofo mu nim se sa omo adofo mu wo domestic violence relationship anase marriage no. Ekwan on befa so betimi di aboa. But before we get to that, no, sir, a friend is saying a gas lighting, no. Omo no the wo pese wuni sa nipa no ejaye kwan a yesa wo fa so any ni abuses are emotional abuses, which is part of it because we already established say gaslighters, gaslighting, is part of emotional abuse, no to say when you muja at once so and yes our cast we job on ade chi no mo frɛ wa no asa so second chance no waka somwe jai no enu no woni ne se woni no etnase na wo kasa not in a disrespectful way, in a straightforward. Mr. Lee, I love Mr. Lee because Mr. Lee won no busana sama busana question or kind of direct on fan coffee fight. The one in the planet tenase, no one catch no direct, straightforward, in a calm voice. He say, "Wuno so say, etina moteno enye juma intimu intinebiem."
What is it? What is it? Anka a piece of what a young penny over the giant.
No correct.
I know you're one. That's what you know. I'm not your home say your customary marriage or any ordinance.
Yeah.
Customary in India and you was your whole into know and Nijaya.
No correct.
Now ordinance no Nijaya adding.
Do tell Sofo. Nijaya with court to name everything near Japadia, right?
It's Hono court no quality me sign Ghana had your go from ADR so the visa as a be arbitrarily a committee bia ade bi na ekoso na eme wani ndin wona wuja ware no ombetumi no watena se na omo no wakan bia na bia nipa da oye sarafi na dwebesesa eno ewo ho enti customary ndie akoso say the last na be yan fanto say obi wo ho de bia obo na yire okacha na yire say medi wo dem ansan na be jao aba hesu ti awari ase say the year kan odine mma aho na afa excuse for afi de the year say ni kunni ne kata na oyeye no mu oye ne maame ne maame adabo mu nsam de betwe na oyeye no ana ninianu mema trans na osmota am fra oba ne trans hesi a na ware no first say ka wo kwa na obo odi an kan fa yam ba say odi e ma me bam de yeso ye trans so mu ye ma me enu as ndi e ma option 2 ada say obeja ware no na ye yakokope yi store amount na yaton ye magum na waton ana say obetena ware no mu ne yi wa free abusu enu because situation is getting out of hand obi aka bi odo onye bi ahone de yetumi ama kwan ma awarigo ni ye ntentem obeka obi de obi baka che say obi ko Yesu aga che say Yesu oni ba bi finance ana oba bi finance aware aduanum mema 5 because that time no na custom ni che say so ware na say woni oyira anwo a na say wuwu a oni obedi wa de na say oye na yiri opompo and it continues for 5 aduanum mema 5 ni na wi no be say Yesu senti Yesu sa daache oka owusori ye ho asem na se daache se owusori ye no omo sori a sa mema 5 we nyina no kwan ayire ni obey Jesus catch and say, or so hard yet. Yenja ware ho. So and the American question said, say a customer marriage ya I need jaro emre. Na ordinance need ni jai edi. Ordinance need ni jai edi. Nanso so say etobiri bi na de affect no emma raising a etumi yakwa bi a course we be mo ma ti o ntam kakra. For some time maybe an ebi on betumi ba ko betumi akotran se anu say de me ye kura na nya because as far as they me say me born out me nchen by this time no okwa akiri nti no api mesana ti me ho asena maba if it's a baby no I na wari jaya no no ho nsam dosu
no one some the doso answer Bible no Sofo say what kind Bible answer around that time no Bible focus a lot about abuse but adultery no near you need the account enti no esa say abuse no young kan of Bible mu enti no ye wo church goers bi a ana say nipa bi a omo no church goers omo affiliate to themselves as Christians and so no they have no clue what Christian is because they say wohwe me wo enamfofo bi a na say nipa bi a minimum a omo kwa sorry on regular basis and so no omo fa omo ho kafo achi ana say when it comes to faith being faithful no they lack from there, right? And now it will nipa bia or no crampo no nanse mo an so-called Sofo bi issue to the ex-wife and I say oba sister na wi ya or no he's in the puppet, right? But it's say or ye insecure no ye bully no ye or ye coward no you know in so many ways no. And you know, we're taking Obi life just like that. And you know, to say, "Ba wari jaya with Christo sumwa as the end of Christo ni." I mean, I'm not condoning, like you know, I'm not encouraging for a marriage dissolve, but if that's a domestic violence na, and nyoma, say. Or yire to stop abuse no because if you were enyo oba no kra na or go through abuse na be man wonim se ni kun na ebu omo baba ana so omo baba e ma wo fie ho but she is helpless, she can't do nothing because okoka onu nso e bebo no enti no it say when you live in abusive home na say bi a ho kafo e bo wo ma except you would try to understand woman and sana obey discipline omo
and then I say Bible no or child abuse can carry you baby I that can be Exodus 22 and 23 I say so look at that a virgin na say on da na say bi baby na say ne papa na enti ase a say wo mani tua o bo ne ka so say eno say abuse yeah, I had a gift of war. I had a bia. Young camper, our go the big and say. So we could die a warrior, especially also to be good tinting. No could jawa be not know about putting to be working a software as a coming to my warrior. I know I am going to know, or no, I am going to know. Okay, complain most of no soft gas okay. I'm into a boy. Ebe osofo na kan ka ri ebe ose awale ko afede mabre mo yengu no oba ko na ba ma ko ba ko jina ba bi aka say nge sof ono no ko complain no ebe do ebe ka say nge sof krampo a kasa ka metima warriors
because they in denial, they don't want to accept their problems and yeah that's in denial.
I didn't tell my sof no kwan say sof bia be ka che obi say Unko jana warrior. Why would one also wa bread ya? You also awesome because I saw in warrior.
So for me I say oba worry for if you in a domestic marriage. Enya obi na yeso catch us say jaware. Say wo na atu. Na wo dey yi because say aware for yema yaware fie home free of violence. You know, violence. There's no violence in the home, and there are like support group. Ubetimi join. They say be a problem. If you have a alcohol problem, ubetimi. Oh, Sofo, my friend, I'm Mr. Ma person chere na drink kakra. Ma.
And cressa minim obi ewo krom ha not nene kun ejai oba ni jaware
okay
almost no and na beka aware no na ya obeka aware no a se o kan nyina no na opeso oba ni janti oba ni jae no se osofo no na aware no.
Are you serious, mommy?
Yes.
Mom with the but say we wait me a chair for so wow that is like surprise. It's not just on no cry while was so no peno pesa wari any good.
Yeah.
As a shuffle cast as some way say say husband duty as a wife duty and as a maturity move back. Shuffle cast as some way say and yet shuffle be an call for counseling because a bimu or no ma one more person really good no crab and I just say you have you know of someone bibisa esi.
What's on the Bama and some tea? And the software can I worry any queen. A good alcohol software, I want
Whoa.
Support baby, walk over me and son. And the Hannah, I in the fault in the free.
Wow.
Yes.
That's crazy. But mommy, to say what thoughts in to say your friend is saying, ooh, asama making me really feel. Oh, that was a good question. I'm person me busapa. Yeah, braba, I called the two just say bema ne bono, right? To say or prefer say obekuni ho instead say nanimu begu ase no.
No. And no, yakra, ni kwanse our near necessary ujai. Now, Tanasi now will go and need down now she share opia. One new adjing, one answer argument in you. Who go over then wako and suruho.
Eh, sir, and suffer kind why a bonnet because you have murdered yourself, right? Taking your own life.
Yeah, I have bonnet into another and yakura as a so good hour. Now call her our hooker for no so call her the hooker for.
Bama to say and my baby almost now I say yeah boo almost always answer mobile or momentin or moment to muntimi jawari almost swear they are some now become
Jimmy a psychological almost
mommy what's here then Jimmy what's here Jimmy
Jimmy and I face or side problem.
no correct Adrian you're correct.
Yeah. So you're correct. I won't cancel that.
Wow.
Would you punishment? Who suffer? Why would you suffer for that? No. They never money a bit free. Yeah.
But mommy, obi no ma oja aware no fo say na tanfo benya no ntino obetena ho saa.
Enipa ano eti Because nipa na wudi na anu aji no. Onye nyame. Eno ontimi help wo ekwan bi aso. Se wu a ono nso ni nipa a obedi kan a obedi watem pa me bibi aye.
Wow, what did Jimmy ewu nkasi ewu?
Yes.
It's my advice then I will about victims of domestic violence, because obi wo hono ma yenim say o grow onyi wo abusive home, unhealthy environment. Enti no obi wo hono ma wo call abusive relationship ma eno an onim ti ofo say ye norm. Enti nipa sa no te say advice then na betu.
Eni kwa say wotina dia na wo fia ye wo no. Ni buye aba.
No correct.
Enye enka atete no. Enen. Well, enti sese wo free mu. Na wo ye sese oni apro free mu. Ontram.
Now we'll get to professional help if you need to do so,
yes, I can say so get to professional help.
Well, thank you. And yes, someone suffer a kiki wintina also would deal with the upper back. And yes, I suffer no, yes, suffer nipa bonepa, or yes, suffer papa. So far, more be Jana Warren and Aqua for ban. What nonsense is that? Not just I will cry a bonny when you're me.
Yes.
Because I time I will cancel or morning, and that's how Jenny will trim.
Yeah, and that's the Okojina pocket. That was the walk castle. Actually,
well, sorry, ma. Not just any answer will cast a crabby free one. We shouldn't be listening to you. What a wow! Waka fasofo. Yo, ma dancing a mishra. Who will be before frappe so kaka huana? Matima, me that's it. I know so fine. I'm the questions if you are cross. And that's it. And the big ZD is so, my goodness, I love the big ZD. Thank you so much. I love you.
I love you too.
Thank you. Bye-bye. We'll talk later.
Yeah, okay.
Bye. Hi, Daddy.
What?
Mate, got it. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, that was my mommy. I put her on the spot. I said, yeah, Casano, I don't for no more a year to have say me, say, I'm in skip for a year. Okay, so we say Mr. Lee did too on my radio. I say, but nothing does. Why would that abuse come about? Because men as a man, or because me as a man, I will not put my hands on a woman. So if a woman tries that game, no matter what kind of love I have for her, irrespective of the kids, she is gone with the wind. I love to leave for my kids, most certainly, and that's so like, you know, I trust that. I mean, if it's not working out, it's not working out. And yeah, me suffer the back at him to me, me I may use my dreams. Say I worry na me team the boy me na met me I went my met na on my age, my pass a bro woman quite here. Send you made me skin and here I'm Mr. Lee said, brother nothing does is Mr. Lee because they're scared to report it. I mean, there are some instances in that, and maybe we were one mom for some report to her. Not only would they be laughed at, but a bit obanon so because me program be suffer not obanon a bo bearman and a bearman a cocoyer report. I didn't know obanon so coyer report to say bearman abono. It became he said, she said. And you know to say a bearman down for no ye police ni and no advice and say omo ofia on share and record a conversation. It no ba no nim about it. She hello sister of my dear Oba Akos Apomutisem. No ba no nim about the recording. Na sad that night na be mani be finu and something dear Oba ni ye na recorded it. Oba no threatened to take his life and everything. So that was the evidence. So because sometimes no be wo hono ma e ma ni bi wo ho mu di ntro be ma ni fa ni sen kan no so se no de nsa kan no eno no e bi wo hono ma the victims they end up being victimized because e bi wo hono ma na sama a wo kan no enu ma esis na ye no friends some law enforcement will be there for you because say we need proof. Because you creating certain conditions for the victims, and victims should not be victimized because of lies and deception. It's very bad. It shouldn't have to happen, and I know I dare say Williams and so can maybe maybe let me just go back up. Okay. Brother nothing doesn't say so Osofo. You see, this is the questions, it comes later because none perceive so but he said sometimes who baby not questions say but no the by 3 near free, so 3 hours is enough. I say so Osofo, what precautions can we have to take to avoid this abuse in our homes? That question is never, so that's a good question because that's where I want to go to. Mr. Lee says slapping does not teach a woman nothing but builds rebellions in her heart, which one day will bring a fatal attack. Most definitely. Brother Nati says, Adwoa, I will be back. One of my colleagues died from COVID-19. Oh my gosh. I'm sorry to hear that. That's so sad. May he or she rest in peace. My Sage Williams said, "What about people who are not Christians but have different beliefs? What should they do about domestic violence?" Sophie, you want to take that?
Okay. I'm going to people. Did you say one thing? Say anybody more worry no. Say most more say I will worry anymore. And it's me bua my worry anymore. Because I never come when you say may be you so here. No back one ni pediana and say ni pediana. Me who am say be our entire.
Yeah.
Anybody say pediana. You bomb ya me yana. Mr. Who said, Mr. Bo, we are very I will have the same feeling for the person. So, I will other people are. Maybe I know because of Gideon or more. I was that time. Gideon is a 3 months or 4 pounds years out. The most of the times, it is the custom and the tradition and what somebody believes, and the amount of years are. Because you were a soon be blow among children. I know among a real crime for a year, the omoye.
No crap, because it's acceptable. Sir, acceptable. But which it shouldn't have to be in case any penny use now drink. Roman I drink yet, you must say, idea with him no one experience pain. Mean when it comes I'm going to speak my truth. When it comes to domestic violence now, it is I don't even think about Christoni, and I said the only Christoni, the Oji Christodi, the only Christodi, and I say what is accepted and what is not accepted. Abuse is abuse. And when it comes to that, now sometimes reasoning, any excuses, start blaming games, I think and when building up so many of this foolishness. And you know, be honum cry na wono, wo be man na wo to nsa de aba oba no. Shouldn't you be ashamed of yourself? Be man oba ahoden enye the same. A man should not raise their hands to hit a woman. Be man no kwan say wo to nsa ebo oba. And oba so ni kwan say wo to nsa de bo be ma. We shouldn't be abusing each other because it's wrong. It don't matter if you want to be dominant now. Learn effective communication and use that to talk to people. Don't treat your partner as a child. And even if it's a child, your own children, you shouldn't mistreat them. You shouldn't abuse them under any circumstances. Abuse is abuse. I don't think say beliefs and non-believers, no, like having different beliefs and not being a Christian, no, to even play part in it. Will be
what was that? Your suicide bombers or
yeah, I know the other right, 9/11.
Suicide bombers, no. If you want to say according to Omo Islam, and as Omo said, so who in that battle, when you go to heaven, you are going to marry 12 presidents.
Yeah. Yeah, Chroma the copper, mommy has some kind, so funny a bad pound. I didn't need it. Go ahead. And Cypher.
Gideon, the year can you say, oh, yeah, remember what was a better Bama of you. Oh, yeah, papa, when you so, if you say, men are Bama, Nia, a Gideon, ye dare say you move. I drew a catch day, I dare your penny for catch I said, Obama, the wolf fear, but you don't know your Bama. Anybody ever say, and yet, Mayday, remember what the answer mentioned as a Bama. A certain idea of GD. By the Aquarius said, make us say that Aquarius said, Christosum, the Aquariano, normally no, all kind of parties said, Kujawari, and Minaka said, they are in the marriage because of something like a
no correct.
They are in the marriage because some people are still free. They are out of marriage because some people are still free. In the end, I shifting blame now. I shifting blame no. I found for every one new kunsu. But I best shift time or suffer no car say uncle worry no. I because no software and can come baby. No software can come to my worry.
Eti na say asofo no mu yi omo free enkrofo aware mu and they say they have to deal with it with professionals and other people because sometimes they will be betimi anya wo ho tan so ho
and they have asole no oripa no asole ni wa na so okoware a afutuo ni edutu no mama aware na wukumu no yeni kan yam prepare na dwen ama the difficulties and then the goods in our anymore. May I tell you, our little woman, who sit down, prepare now, you know, who is our no communal. When was for this many years because I was listening to Lucky Debate, you will say it's not easy. Lucky Debate, then you will say it's not easy. Now, so tell you when I say, Brown, come home, Bana, it's the aqua to be all day, and my baby, I bear the mammy, none of mammy, I can so, or buy or say. This time, I can't say, "Oh, buy a moon idiot. She is the best." No, I say, "Sir, now comes. Oh, where the? I feel I don't know what you want. I feel the. I don't know what I need. I toss more money." So, what me tears I don't know what to do. I say, so what you could do? I say, a man I can say I can say, "Obim pengua," and I say, "Obi obi queen," or you obi so how. So, it's a chair and people say, the people who are addicted to the OGDA, traditionalists, OGDA, Christians, GDA, Muslims, GDA, Buddhists, GDA, Obio, we are Siriano, our addicted to the or the GDO. Nemono, Woody Pana, Coco, and another Woody Pana, Wabaya, Diano. Next, I was shut up as idea we are baby. aso ebetumi di aduonyama brɛ me na de aduonyama brɛ me som no
anasa nimguasie
sa wodwen saa de na wobehu ebi sɛ na minimai bi a na opia wonten na oba na nim onyam pa but obedu fi a okuma totoma na yire nti omo mo fi ho de omo nyam sa to omo sɛ duru ho na ebi mo de aye efe
wow
na ebi mo sɛ da nti omo ba ko bi ka ba ko pɛ na no sa oba no
eti Sofo I mean to say as sama yenua Sage Williams busae no say nipa ni nye Christo ni na so different beliefs na I know said that our beliefs no play part in it, but me feel say when it comes to domestic violence now people should start using the brains that God gave us, because idea Okoso no eboawa na say emwa in some say emwa me feel say me nka say me ye Christo ni nti no me kumi wo ma ware mu a na me da so te sa ware fon tantan ho it will never happen.
I tell you say so any ba ko hawa too free ho wow yesu o je a tell but the call so what should so any ba ko an sa ba ko hawa too free ho enu mo odi ko heaven obako heaven na wani ba ko etu a eye say wo ani mienu na so ntumi ko heaven
but Sofo asama a wo kan woni say minim say yakasako a ba obi wo hono mo ote a obefo say wo se won tu physically won tu na nimi free just say wo hono ma Sofo I'm not trying to be funny but obi wo hono mo fo say wo tu na ni free hono ma na ni dua na nka so tu free hono ma be solve the problem onim say yakasako a say ade na nye ma wa free hono just live. You can allow people to abuse you because you know being raised in an abusive home, no, it makes me a trigger into that. But you have to seek for help. And I mean to say, what are some of the things that I said, Brother Nati does it? Ebu say we you bet me ya the best stop a domestic violence. You know, join a support program groups, you know, to support you. Make sure that your home is a violent-free zone. You don't deal with no nonsense, okay? Every situation, you need to nip it in the butt. We also need to control ourselves, have self-discipline, manage our anger in so many ways. Say, we are bema and also you have alcohol problems and also drug problems now. Seek help. Remove yourself from your marital home and also your family home and get help. And yes, I will call a recovery center for 1 month. For 6 months. Make sure that the system, the drug is out of your system. Not yes, I will tell you, I say. And then we also start gender violence, you know, because a mema and a taboo and man taboo mema. So and also no, we have to make a note of it. And the main cause of abuse, you know, what are some of them? You know, we have a lot of factors around that. And nyoma be brain say kwanya oba be victim of abuse obi wo hon ma sane de be e ka no yetete no ewo nintiti yemu no na the home was abusive and I say they were neglected as a child and also play part in them being in abusive way obi wo hon ma they have physical or mental illness and also a play part and obi nso wo hono with depression any post-traumatic stress, you know, and also post-traumatic stress disorder, no, PTSD, no, and also a play part obi nso wo hono wo call army mu omonso army for no omo kom huhu sa ekunkum nom ne ade na eno nso timi ma omunya post-traumatic stress disorder PTSD, no, omunya bi family crisis, and also it me family crisis or family stress, marital crisis and marital stress, and also to me create all those domestic violence, and a mental conflict, emotional abuse, psychological abuse, and financial abuse, other abusive, and also a creative part of it. We talk about so for see, I can physical abuse, right? You can sexual child abuse, and so right, neglect, and so neglect. I'm saying I said I don't go into it. So next time I better pick up about domestic violence, we'll go into more details about it, and then we I think that you can mostly we did a lot of the invisible one. We did a lot of emotional abuse, the aka the verbal, the mental, and the psychological. We talked about it, and then connected gaslighting, which Pastor Patience put up last week, as part of emotional abuse as well, and because these are like some of the 4 main abuse you see happening. And then there is also a possible sign of psychological emotional abuse that deals with withdrawal. You're going through things in the nipano or keep things to themselves. They won't express their emotions, their feelings, which will result into them developing low self-esteem, right? And also having change of appetite, and also losing weight or gaining weight. You're going to have signs of distress and also tearfulness, and then develop anger and so many things. And to say important to say, when you have abuse going in your home now, making sure say when things start now, even with phone crampo now, press the record button. You need to have evidence of something, because who report with police station, the first thing they will ask you, America, how said, do you have proof of what you came to file? Once you have proof, also prepare yourself for say nipani china, because American Chrome has said sika de enu ne di omanimu kan. Se obi a threaten so obekum ne yire a yetimi chini tum, but they will give them bond. Ebusuafo the enablers any double standards omu timi di omu dan ekosi edwa I mean, who said they will put their thank you. Etimi ebeli nipane out, and manipani to me be kum the other person for free. And more evidence and not see a chinipana. And say you need to be on high alert. Make sure say you constantly communicating with the precinct and the police station. Say be or shoot them. And also because if you when they build themselves out now, police law enforcement, they don't follow up to let you know say he's out. And you have to know their every step. Baby if you need to relocate and I say go stay with a friend that won't you have to do that, because that's your protection. You have to take extra precautions to remove yourself from that situation, because if you don't do that now, you're putting yourself in a harm way. Hey, Sister Frida, I'm afraid you are welcome. Sister I'm afraid you are something just to protect yourself, and then you put steps in place. Baby, I will go school. Even you have to call the school to let them know. Say you put a precaution in place. He said, "Obedient me, my home me found kwalano." And I say, "Be a way situation. Say na ekoso ntino. Woman into me in school for some time. You make sure say the abuser will not get to you through a family member. Most of the times in the beginning of relationship, we have to know nipano necessary bind. So or you'll be a nibufu rough na Sasamba won ya emre no wadwen obetimi adi ewu by force. But to say having evidence, you need to document. Even getting a journal or a diary, you put everything that happens, you put it in writing. Sebi obi mpese obi bewu apofrumu anase ubewu nkwasiewu, but to say be happening to you, that will be the evidence to put that person away. But we talking in terms to say preventing your death. Make sure you all, my phone always travel with me. My phone is always in the place that I know where to go to hit the record button. To say, like when you buy phone now, make sure say you know so much. Like on iPhone, most of us have iPhone. We need iPhone. Every phone, this has it. Almost all the phone, it has a folder. In the folder, and it comes with it. When you go now, they have a voice memo. And the voice memo, this is how it looks like. This is, okay, hold on. This is it, where my finger is. The voice memo, this is how it looks like. Into no say, wo hit here. Wo hit here. You see the red button to say listen once you hit the red button now, if I hit this now and some are making I didn't even like, you see it's recording, so everything is recording because obi ohonoma wonim and it's saying baby may record it from baby, I mean, what I may record is that we will fear and answer what abontin baby, I will record it. Be a say, time and I may jumana me pon late, me pon free jumam say, ye may bet na me care more. I just put the recording on in my car driving, because sometimes situation happens you don't know. I'm not being paranoid, it's just me fair ID. And sometimes you, because uko report idea say someone threatens you, fine, the person threatens you. The first question, abroad, America, the first thing they ask you, do you have proof of it? That kills me, because maybe nipa no betimi my bra boy firo yase. It's always important to have something. Me be peer free building man, my press, nam de ashe me pocketing, and I say and my baby bit me din your phone, you can put your phone here. Obi who's a phone shall like you can do so many things with your phone and record things. If something is happening to you now, you don't have any help from anyone, so you are always protected, because most of the time in some BCC but it says obi threaten ni chini tuma men you are being free to say nipa na china to for not for 6 months, into that's what's going to happen. Obi wo head not to for 6 months ube huna aban you court now amano a bail they set a bill, and then na abusuafo atwa mo nsa no akoyi na frim no abekun what take your life away from you. And evidence there, make sure journal, like diary, you write it, will become something why you write it, this date and so said this to me. And be a part of your evidence. You document things. So push me against the wall. So slam a door in my face. This, and making sure that you getting counseling very much. Sofo, who will be the best was one. I can me that's so recording myself. My doom.
Yeah, I'm say the way you can. Yeah, won't say you have to say customs and traditions, probably I say you won't say you do baby. You can't say a dear no, and 2 years where we agree. customs and traditions are osha the abuse and as a ma ba ko supersede on others no as a horse you should ye afin so no abutua na asa sorry and as a mo amobel so obi eba say your oba so be man na or to say nuku taibu na ese say musmutu anamo mo kan je say oh awale de sa de tie awale de sa de tie da bo no bo mo so no bodi fo mu nipa no say busuan for the first time remember baba ka kira mo say bigu abomi no ese abusuan for mo bo modern say mo ba ko ba ma nanim akwakọ hu ni say sa de we say ye mpese ye beti ye tibie mu a anase hu so ba na wukura mpo na ye only be hold responsible na munya the fear bi road ba ko ni mu a aba stop no from doing sa na man and after you know ye be say be say sigma no so I the doors normally be ko ya dia na no wo no ja na yere bo na say da bi na so bi ayi be na ho de won say basa na obi su kasa asam na say yen so ye ben sa be ma ko no say yetumi eboa no ye boa no na sa ohaw na okomu no wait because ebi no ha ebu be he alcoholic and say ebi be he drug abuse all because of domestic violence ani amana yesa nti ye be sere say sa de we na yetumi sisi sa no kaka ebetumi aboa ye ma say obi a victim so obi a victim dia de di kan say oni kan de di kan me kasa fa kiso afam de oliba no omam paibo eni na brabo wa victim say you know me jidi say e basa na wa dwen ne obraba mu de di kan say e so obo mpaye ete so mienu nsu no say o wa ware ni mu dia ene de bomodin say ebi ayi be wa victim but ebi na say oda suum so oda suum dia make sure say obema na so oba no o de betena si ye na wo so wa setting you bi dia ma na say sa de we wuntumi nya ma me dia ene me ko mani hu ha wuntumi fa maso ma e point ya to so if you go bo mu biem a meja aware me ko so wunya aware ni mu so dia wunya aware mu so dia men kan tre say aware na aguri nti bi bia ba wieye nyame wo nyame owo Isaiah 40 verse 31 I say those who wait upon the Lord they shall renew their spirits. Nti nyame na yeso no otumi renew nipa life biem na wasan de ukọ anim nti se ebi a de ba ko na meri bi nti wantumi antena ase na wagya aware a God is there to renew your spirit or to renew your life. Nti bo ho modi an say obetumi aye na wai to sa enema na twene se obi ba ofo so obi ba say afi oba ba ware wa na wadi je ho so ba ware no dia and the cancer shall nipa na bra bom to the background na hu say do sitie ansana wa wure mu won so anwura ware mu nso a wo so utie we bi no wo so ba modi an say time be obi ba ka cho so ba ware obi a no wo make sure say wo betumi ahwehwe onipa na chiri kakra ehu ha wo sitie the mental the attitude towards others, the temperament if we're able to know all these things there at least now what's solve about 50 or 60% of the issue now now with 40% I believe say we to me a control when I mean here na pe o man yin na ya ware no anya asumdwe say the we see aya de bia ne betena na say kan ware sama de dia ni gisem baka kan me so baka kan.
Thank you. So for what's Isaiah 40:35, right?
That 40:31.
Oh, okay. Because na me feel say metro before after the me we ya say man clicky we no until 40 no metwa but 31 me meti until no me ma correct no say so for that say na see ehun say yebusa ye hu say abusers no one abuser abuser no can be anyone. Hey, mommy, Frebie mo, mommy, adia kiki no ma.
Stop for some more. Say, obi be wari wa wo hwe Nay, and no, I did for no. Yama, so Obi Bewarwa, if we be so beman if you are free. No more say a real, and I said, Chrono, and I would give what on back companies and
okay. But and then I'm for you see the anti-jai.
And no nama I will be called London and Okoso Beman. I said, ne papa ni obi we wa hwe no. To Okoso now, one abusiafo nti bra on ba Ghana on be ware. And on be share na ese owunia. Oh, papa ni si wo se wunia bema.
Wow.
So and the software some can and then dinner mammy friend I'm doing that to us.
Oh, thank you, mommy. Hey, back to back 2 times on the road. Maybe in the future, and I'll get you to come and talk for half an hour.
I wish I had time.
Annie, I feel a porno nam sa frebium. Mo pesi et sa. Yeah, Mati with us in Yamisha. Mommy, check the hotel no what in the swinging. It did not make an say abuses, it can be anyone. It can be a family member, it can be a friend. A bit me about a Adam for and I say Busiani. You say, we are Juma or a baby, we are Juma or boss, and I say, co worker, staff member. To say, Oma, nipa, will show mono. Almost betting me abusers, nurses, and a care assistants. Almost a home health aid, a bimon so ebeti me abusers to you. And ebeti me obia wunim, and I say obia wunim. So it can be anyone. And to say your friend is saying when you are a victim or not, if you being abused now, stop lying to protect your abusers. Your abusers is not your knight and shining. One yet will Prince Charming. No, that person is hurting you. They are narcissists. You have to get away from them. But before you get away, make sure say you put things in place. Baby, onim se wo be wananya ho na wo ko baby kura, put things in place. It's any way I won't baby. I won't no be tracy you down, not or stalk you, because some of the abusers will leave you, they will stalk you, they will watch your routine. You just say, will be a we to him time I wish who baby any power who call jogging. We ebi some people suffer ebi mu omutrimu pa like they are sick, mentally ill. It make sure say because law enforcement system it doesn't benefit victims. It actually helps the abusers because power to abuse women because when you see a chini tuma on in the bush and forward ska out we need to make sure say you pay extra attention to it. And when it comes to emotional abuse, we already established it's a verbal, it comes first. But also, you have them constantly humiliating you, okay, criticizing you, and as a wumba, threatening you, shouting at you, and as a wumba, and also eka and obeka say obe blame you about things, scapegoating instead so be take accountability. No, obe yen say ya wona who create this problem. Abuse a bit me catch the victim. They say wo kasa into the ma me bo say ya me kasa chire wa men kasa. To send you on your kra and kasa. and making jokes, like we just have to be mindful and protect ourselves and do something about it and not just sit there. But the two abuse, like, oh my gosh, the two emotional abuse we know is psychological and emotional abuse. That is the two most dangerous abuse. Those two, we have to be really mindful of this. This emotional abuse often, it coexists with other form of abuse, very much so. And also no, edding say will be identify because they were within any abonti obi be hu. So for say when you talk, you compare physical and emotional. Now, physical can be identified because obi bo na say horse wa obi be hu say ho apaja. Eho no mo ye dark ye discolored obi be hu say bibi Okoso, but emotional no anu ye within obi ehu. We need to pay attention to that. Run. When you be emotionally and psychologically, Sister Ama Manson can you mpaboa to make journey. Just don't stop. And nyame ya adom a next week next week Saturday yebesen hia. Yebesen hia na next week Saturday no me ne Sofo yebebo ho mpaye na ye de a topic a the benya no ye de atodwa na ye di ho nkomo adofo ne supporters ne followers a mo ba ya mo nso mo produce productive comments, yedamase, because some of my comments, Mr. Lee Patterson, Sister Yatobra, Brother Natty does Yenia, Sage Williams, Sister Ekia Amanima, Maboni Dini, right? And I say, yeah. Oh, Sister Ekia Nima. me auntie Bidin na media bedebeka wodi no. Sister Ekia Nima. And your friend is saying, sister, I won't require so ebe kakra, and no buy or better ho no mu betie kakra. When you need who because or by anki nyam point ke bet na be 5 hours. Right, sister. Where be mu na ede just say adofo no bebre and so Echere o madwin mu nyinaa yɛ damase nyame nhyira mo ne mo productive contribution mo de baayɛ mo ba na mo drop comments mo share mo opinion no ne ade ayɛ boa ma enkomo no ɛyɛ de kama paa ɛna me de obiara sɛ ma mo wudin a me pa atɔ fa kyɛ me enye boa payɛ. It's not intentional, but say me hu sister Beatrice Ajay and sister Ama Beauty. Hey, India. I love a beauty. And from Sister Freedom Bonity, and then my dear Cindy K. Also, me mamunyina makwaba. Edia mi hun because me coin and out and say menemu enya menemu na efia na me hu edina ebasono entino ye the domestic violence no too ye part 2 na last week na part 1 part 2 and but ye be break it because ye person there be because domestic violence because our mu no ye wo positive nneoma bi nso wo ma ye person no nso no ye focus na ye de build your relationships and your friendship within your warrior na ye did the womb because next week he kono for the next a couple weeks ye be ye dear ma enuma ye what our real ma our real ye de netimi tumpon. We're going to focus on the positive and now so for me boy. And no dear just a who your ba worry for and answer be ma worry for now who dofo a na wani ko kru no and no never barbecue ka hu nsam ye de beto to ho no no ma hu say aware de ede any pass aware difficult because see nyanti ase ekoyi pa nti no yedi nyame jamo as always sofo ebebo mpaye na chese yedi dwumadie no esi ha say na next week nyame adwuma US time Eastern time 3 p.m. Eastern time US and mene sofo Samuel Okoso ba yebeka aware yɛbɛka awareɛ mu nkyerɛkyerɛ anaasɛ sɔfo wo kantwi no nafa to hɔ yi yɛbɛyɛ awareɛ nkyerɛkyerɛ right
awareɛ mu nkyerɛkyerɛ nneɛma yɛbɛtumi ayɛ ɛbɛma yɛawareɛ ayɛ anigye
nokorɛ sɛ yɛbɛfocus on that a lot because we need to do things and then also no preventing domestic violence, it will come and go, but we're going to focus on the positive aspect. And you might be my warrior to Pona, Ukuni or any aji. That will on my warrior muni or my warrior fee. Not en colans who feel no man colano any bedji, a woman no in slow my woeful. Nina, I becky can once and tis off for me patch up. Closing.
Never said they kind of kind of say, getting a mess saying in our year to year. Now, your vampire to us says, will be a victim, and I'm by the sun. Now, after also, Anya, our immunity. Now, you know, yes, maybe any general can. A share a bit of being an. The young dancers were free. The vampire.
Oh, soft me, Pat. A long-term side effect about abuse, to say in your memory, chronic pain, also guilt, anxiety, and social withdrawal, any loneliness, and also a long-term effect, any other things by your close into soften patch up.
That was a menso. One of the no, I said, we are so there was a degree, the Cassia, why Eddie Amay. You carry an minute of what I would boy you were doing showing some. So I died, anyone sick, I know what was 3 years or the way you mean. Okay, yesterday, I saw and I was one name. Sunny about higher slow beam every day, cost of Jay, Yaria COVID-19 showing some.
Amen.
And I would buy ya. Brian knew your home every body will patch your wife.
Amen.
Any free already baby soon a buyer. Yes, all the other motor do to you so appear a free home. Now, my and your plan will do on par. I should think as you know. Now, okay, you do sir. What will you buy the what you have Mussolini sending them? Quiet nations. There's a baby that says essentially be more. The backers are one away. Give us your dear new. You decide where we use Christo Dini. Amen.
Amen. And mommy, thank you so much. We love you. I know I love you very, 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 very much for coming to also talk a bit about it. So for next week, yen chance yen chicken more. Yeah. Man, next time about me musa too much questions. Why? No more free, no questions. Okay, nti adofo ye da mase ye di nyame jamo. So for nso ye da nyame hira o omo hu ban and woni ebusuafo nyina omo mo hu ban. Wakoma pa no omfa nhwe so no mfa nhira o emre nyina nti no ade asa no ya ache nti no meja wo na chese eja wonso wife so ageti attention kakra adofo no yedamase why mu read the scriptures na so for drop minim say mu bi no mu yes of maame mo enti mu betimi aye nti wo share program no we like it, we love it, we use other emojis and now we share opinion, being respectful and supporting. When you know that was in your shira mo I no ma share so am I no mama minia me that's it. My dear Sage Williams, we are awesome. Question, and so I like it. Wobaya no busa questions. Yeah, so for Basra, mummy busa questions. So you're finding 2 8 or you're good rough. So for me, the whole 2 of them. Mama, one love for life. Yeah, so